Hello, everyone, and we are here on a very, very beautiful Sunday with our CCA Div 4 Finals. I am Topic, and I am joined by Soavdan here, and for you today, we have a very interesting matchup. We have Steven, sorry, let me get the name right, the Inxecutioners from Stevens Institute of Technology, and T.O.F.F, as I believe how you pronounce it, from T.O.F.F, my bad, T.O.F.F from Carleton College in Minnesota. So that's enough for me. Soavdan, how you doing today?
It's a beautiful day, man. We got all kinds of CCA action. I can't believe how many streams and how many games there are to cover from this. We get the pleasure of covering some of that middle division, that Div 4. Like you said, we're going to keep an eye on the winner's side of all this. So now that we've survived cut 1, we are going to start off on the winner's bracket. And I mean, I don't know how much you've seen of these guys, but I've definitely seen the Inxecutioners around. They've definitely put in a lot of work. So, you know, being that we are in that kind of middle tier, I kind of expect to see a mix of things. I think we're going to see a lot of individual mechanics shine, but I also think we're going to see the team play really take off once we get to modes like Clan Blitz, like Rainmaker. So I do think these teams have a lot to show up for.
Yeah, I agree. But of course, everyone has to start somewhere, and we are starting with, you know, a classic, a staple. Not my favorite, because I'm just not a big Hagglefish enjoyer, but people are, so we're going to Hagglefish zones. And just looking at the weapons that these teams play, I see a lot of staples for Inxecutioners. You have that pen. You have the pen's really good. You have Head It. You have S-Blast. These very staple weapons that are very effective on this map. On the other side, for T.O.F.F, you have, of course, a Wellstring. I'm very excited to see. You have Head It as well. So you have Pro. So I expect a very back and forth game, because I think both these teams know that you really need to get up that ramp. If you get up that ramp, you can start locking out really heavily here.
Yeah, I mean, the space control on this map, considering how long it really is, just kind of really makes and breaks a lot of teams on this map. It's why it's so played, it's why it's so scrimmed, is because it's kind of fairly understood that once you get map control of the center and of the point, you really need to kind of push in and up. So we'll have to see what these teams kind of go with. I do expect, kind of like you said, to see a lot of these longer range weapons come in, so we'll have to see what the load-ins look like, because I have to assume that Edit's probably coming out just simply on range alone. No, we're going to take the pencil instead. On one side, there's the Edit for the other side. I do kind of give the edge to the Edit, though. You have a little bit more safety. You can play a little further back and just kind of turret and protect your team on those side angles. So I do think that I give a little bit of an edge here to T.O.F.F.
I mean, yeah, I can see that as well, but Inxecutioners going all out with this comp. You have that decap, you have that Tetra, and that roller for aggressive plays. Nice right there. Really quick start out from Inxecutioners, just getting the zone, but not a whole lot forward, because like you said, that Edit doing a lot of damage of pinning them back. Tetra's going in, going down in the trade, however, and so far, it's been a very back and forth in mid, but Inxecutioners are doing a really good job of just keeping them back, like you see with that Zipcaster, canceling it almost immediately and not losing a beat. The bubble coming out, the cooler coming out, just making sure space is not given up at all, and so far it's working really well for him.
Yeah, they've committed a lot into keeping that space, but they'll immediately lose it right back since the later cooler is out from the side of T.O.F.F. The zone falls back to neutral, but I still do think that T.O.F.F. in general, like, they kind of have the advantage just playing a little bit further behind. They just need to get control of these side angles, and that's what you'll see at the brush trying to get that. Well, attempts were made.
I mean, yeah, attempts were made, and you see how Inxecutioners is just really taking advantage of that, as you see that Brush doing a lot of distraction, but the team went down. Brush goes down eventually, so Inxecutioners kind of just pushing that Brush off to the side and going full aggressive. Tetra's going in, getting one, going even further in the base, looking for another one, able to get 2 down. Very good job. Now Inxecutioners in a really nice spot. Decap gonna be close to that bubble, protecting them as well. The strikes coming out for T.O.F.F, getting something, but not a whole lot. Bucket's gonna go down. Jumps are coming in as well. You see Edit on top of that, trying to build up that cooler, but Pencil just kind of shutting them down. Zipcaster going in, however, going to get a trade, but Inxecutioner just holding on for dear life, and it is working out as T.O.F.F with 10 ticks remaining. There's the wipeout, and the roller will end the game with a nice double kill, and Inxecutioner starting off this tournament, this bracket, really strong with a pretty clean, not quite 100-0, but like, it was close. It was like 90 to 0, basically.
I mean, you lose the opening cap technically, but like it would have been 100-0 if we hadn't had that initial cap from T.O.F.F. I do have to say, the Inxecutioners did a great job of capitalizing realistically on so many of the small, just micro decisions that were being made from the side of T.O.F.F. The one that stands out to me in particular being the edit just kind of throwing out that cooler a little bit maybe in a panic and not having anybody to take advantage of it. You kind of just gave away that special, and considering how valuable cooler is and has been over time, you basically just kind of gave up your ability to win that fight. So maybe a little bit of the round one, you know, skittishness coming out from T.O.F.F. The reward for them though is that they do get map and mode pick, so they'll have a chance to kind of evaluate from what they saw and pick and see.
Yeah, at least from the outset, I think, like you said before this match, I think we might see Clamblitz here, because you see Inxecutioners comp, you don't want to go Rainmaker, right?
Yeah, you're not going Rainmaker.
You have the roller, very aggressive. You have the Tetra. You saw how they flanked a lot, especially around that left and right side, very aggressive. You had the decaf as well, popping those bubbles in really good spots, especially in the court, to make sure that no space was had. So you really can't go Rainmaker because they're gonna take full advantage of that and just run. So honestly, I could see them going Clamblitz here. Maybe if it's a different map mode that's more friendly to like the brush player, which seemed to work out because that brush is getting a lot of flanks and the bucket as well, just being very effective. Maybe we might see like zones again, maybe it's like Humpback or Mako, these very bucket and brush friendly maps. But my initial thoughts, at least right now, it's gotta be Clamblitz. The map, not too sure about, but Clamblitz is like my thought, at least.
I was gonna say, my thought was gonna be tower control, because if we're gonna worry about it and worrying about speed, that's a problem. That would have been my thought, but we were both wrong, because it is gonna end up being Rainmaker. Map will be selected very close, so we have at least the mode, and Rainmaker gives me kind of a little bit of pause, like you said. We'll be on Undertow, which, okay. I mean, that does tend to be a preferred for some players. I know a lot of players hate that map, but it is a very kind of figured out map mode, right? With Rainmaker, you kind of understand that you're playing to the outside first checkpoint, and then it's that kind of small choke point to get to two. It's very easy just to send something like a slider, like a Booyah Bomb in there to buy you the rest of the space. So, I mean, I think you're right on the concept topic that we want to go something that emphasizes our team play and maybe gives our team a chance to really kind of shine and win out in the bigger mode. This does kind of give them a way to do that while addressing a bit of a faster mode. My question is going to be is, you know, are we giving up the edit? Are we going to a pencil to match? How are we going to address that? Because this is another kind of a long map, but Rainmaker's so quick that you're not going to be able to really set up with a Splatling in the backline. So I have to assume T.O.F.F. probably have some weapon changes to come in to match this mode as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, because we saw from Inxecutioners at the very least. I think their comp from game one does translate pretty well, I would say. So you have to be really careful that they had that Tetras with that Reef Slider. Like you said, it can cause a lot of damage, especially in that that left side area, which a lot of teams like to go to. So that could be very, very dangerous. We see Inxecutioners sticking with what they had, aside of T.O.F.F. going with the same weapon. So I think, actually no, scratch that. They went over to the Kraken brush. So I think they're going to try to use that to kind of force away the members of Inxecutioners. And sorry, I'm wrong again. EE for Inxecutioners going over to the Splash for Crab.
Yeah, a Crab plus double bubble for the Inxecutioners tells me we're going to play for a little bit of our longer game here. We're going to use those bubbles to get in close and kind of buy the rest of the way, but we're really reliant on Crab for that long range pressure. First cooler did go to Inxecutioners, so we kind of have that realization that they are just putting out a ton more ink, and they are even moving this right away. They cleared the path, and I mean, that's just a free checkpoint. Nice, easy done.
Yeah, shout out to Adrian on their roller. I believe they got a double kill to set up that push up really effectively here. Pens in the end, another one, 2 members down. Once again, Inxecutioners just going a bubble to kind of distract the members. Meanwhile, going on the greats to go get more points. Kraken's going to be popped, but will it matter? Going for the dunk. There it is. Rainmaker's going to Rainmaker. What can you do about that?
That was, you know what? T.O.F.F. wanted to come in and play with set plays, beautiful set plays and ideas out of Inxecutioners. They just said, look, we're gonna everybody thinks we're gonna cram mid, we're just gonna try to ram it through that checkpoint and that choke point. Nope, let's just take it around, let's get ourselves set up, and a great recognition, just paired with a T.O.F.F. just kind of being a little bit more focused and funneled on the tunnel vision. And so I mean, unfortunately, just kind of punished for their own a bit too own focus. You know, this happens in game one though. Topic, like, you get really focused. You're trying to win. You're trying to figure out. You're trying to run your own plans. You got to open up that worldview a little bit. Make sure you're watching all your angles. Like I said, these are long maps, but there's still a lot of side flanks you can get around. So, you know, just a great mind play from Executioners to kind of win that out. A deserved 2-0 in the set.
Yeah, and now if you're T.O.F.F, this is a very tricky situation, right? Your first game plan, try to slow it or trying to go with the same thing. You had the same comp, go for Rain, make a bit of a faster mode. That didn't work. You saw Inxecutioners take full advantage of that. Whenever T.O.F.F went for a flank, they had someone watching the backside, getting kills. You saw how quickly they were able to push up, pop the bubble, and just be distractions for T.O.F.F. And now you're going to game 3, do or die basically. So if you are T.O.F.F, what's your game plan here? Because you can't outrun them. You can't outrun Inxecutioners because we saw that once they got in, that was game. Straight up, that was just game. You can try to go back to zones possibly, but even then that's gonna be a bit risky because they can stick with what they have. They had that double bubble to kind of like stop you in your tracks from getting to the zone. So they're in a very tricky spot here in what they're gonna try to do.
I mean, to me, kind of like I said, and kind of what you were addressing earlier, Topic, like, we kind of just need to slow it down. You're not winning at that tempo that Executioners want to play, so you have to kind of look to something like tower control. To me, if you're going to do this, yeah, you're still going to have kind of the weapon disadvantage of double bubble where they're constantly going to have protection, they're constantly able to keep this cart moving, but it does give your backline a chance to maybe get up and get protected, or at least watch your flank angles from a bit of a position where you can go from that. I don't know that I'm crazy about going back to zones, but that kind of feels like number 2 because that does give you at least a decent chunk of time. I mean, the options are kind of limited based on what you really want to do. I think the other problem is going to be, what map do you take with this? Executioners clearly have, you can't take anything that you really scrim and practice a lot. Executioners probably have that in their playbook, so you probably need to look to something maybe a little bit more fringe if you're going to try to maybe keep yourself alive in this series. So I think it's okay. As I say, I think you need to go to something a little bit more kind of out of the box, but clams on Scorch Gorge is not the worst thing. That does give your backliner some space to kind of play and protect, and I like that better. But this is, again, one of those maps that kind of we see a lot of for the map mode combination. People love to play this, so it's really, I don't know that the map gives you a real advantage here.
I mean, I do think I think I know their game plan because they want to funnel all of Inxecutioners into one spot and kind of force them into a bad position. But looks like Inxecutioners, they're sticking with what they have. That double bubble, if they get in, very dangerous. Yeah, that crab as well. You put the crab on the grates, very dangerous. So it's a very do or die. It's very like all or nothing, because if you can get your brush in, if you can get those missiles going, if you can get that bucket in, that's very good. But so far, not a good start. So brush going down almost immediately to that roller. And right now, Inxecutioners, they're just doing what they did the last couple of games here.
Yeah, they get the first pick, they wait until they have the paint and the specials coming up, and then they try to set up a distraction and try to see where there's a weakness in the lines. The missiles come out, but it's not going to be enough, and that's fine. They want to play this slow. They're going to go ahead and play to get all of these specials out from top before they move forward.
Yeah, you see that crab popping out as well. Just kind of clear out that ramp. It's going to work. 2 members are going to go down. The flank from the brush is going to get 1, but not a whole lot extra. Hold on, Adrian. Trying to stay alive. Getting a trade. That's going to do just enough to save that ball and just back it up for a little bit longer. But Inxecution is taking full advantage of it. Getting the power in. A couple clams in reserve are going to score. Are going to get underneath that 60-point mark. It's going to work. And T.O.F.F is going to try to clean them out, but it's not going to work for long. I think Inxecutioners get a couple more points on the board. Adrian going in, getting 1, getting 2, keeping them far back, and that will be the end of the push. But a lot of damage has been done. If you are T.O.F.F, you got to take full advantage of this. You have to make sure you get space, because if you wait for too long, Inxecutioners are going to come right back into your base.
I was to say, you do have the clan economy on your side, so you do kind of have a bit of an advantage. No power clan made just yet, but the numbers do favor you. You can't really sit and wait to play for picks, like you said. The advantage you kind of have is something you do knock out one with a special, so that is a huge opening pick. You kind of have to push this now and just play around, where you know your opponents are.
Yeah, you see they have that cooler, they have these strikes. He popped the zip caster a little bit earlier, trying to go in, but Inxecutioners is just holding the line. I think their double bubble does work a lot here just to kind of threaten slowing the game down, slowing down the pace that they can push forward, and it's working out perfectly right here as two members are going to go down from just T.O.F.F sitting in place, kind of all clumped together. Now Inxecutioners at the flip of a switch, able to just completely paint the map there, color, popping their crap to try to get something a little bit further going. They're going to go down. Strikes coming out as well. Two members down for Inxecutioners, and that will possibly be the end of it. But Adrian has something to say about it as into the base, getting the jump in. They're gonna make it. Unfortunately, there's gonna be a DC on the side of Inxecutioners, but we're far too late into the game for a replay. So now the Inxecutioners gotta play a little bit different, gotta play a bit more conservatively here, because one mistake could be the end of this game here.
They did lose the crab, which is just a little bit more firepower in the front line. Great dash from Chris. I mean, they should be able to sit back and play this kind of safely if they control the claim economy. They actually have a lot of the tools, and T.O.F.F is playing incredibly passive. You saw they had the advantage, tried to sit back and just wait it out. So realistically, Inxecutioners should be fine to play a little bit more passive here and just kind of wait it out. They are down to one, and with two clans coming up, T.O.F.F might actually flip this back in their way.
Yeah, there's the third. They still have the P to go, so this might be the end of the game. You see the bucket and the brush kind of just stall out for as long as possible. Digi here with a couple more clans. They are gonna just really get it in time. Chris gonna get the slash. Two members are gonna go down. Sidra trying to look for that jump, gonna get it, but not gonna be quite close enough. Adrian gonna be that buzzsaw to get the kill, and that will do it. And now T.O.F.F, now they're going to start putting a little bit more pressure onto Inxecutioners here. They have a minute left to go in this game. Inxecutioners, they're down their crab. That is huge, like you said earlier. That firepower is not going to be there. So now it's just relying on pure picks, because now with two bubbles, you can't get in. But getting in is that problem. You see, Agent does get in, but in a trade, that's not what you're looking for. You're looking for straight picks, because trades are a detriment to you right now.
Yeah, to say trading is not good enough when you're down one. You're down 25% of your power, and you're really, again, kind of stuck just playing defense here. It's almost kind of worth waiting for this last kind of play. The thing is that you are getting picks, you are winning your duels, so I do think that you can play aggressive. You just have to make sure you are winning your duels just like that. And I mean, Chris is good at winning. The bubble's down, there's one in, and that almost is enough. Briganator has to kind of make the magic happen here. I don't think it's going to happen, but if they can get another clam, at least for another run back, Inxecutioners, not all hope is lost going into this.
Yeah, all hope is not going to be lost, but that time is still ticking. 20 seconds or less than 20 seconds remaining in this game. If you're Inxecutioners, you have to force a fight basically if you want a chance of winning this game. The cooler's going to be popped. You see Adrian sneaking in on this right hand side, looking for one. They're going to go down. Very unfortunate there. 5 seconds remaining. Now starts overtime. If you're Inxecutioners, you have to go. You cannot wait. You cannot dilly dally. But the zip caster is going to shut that down. Looking for the second, is going not to get it. But that's a huge boon in the side of Inxecutioners now, because you have to go. You have no time remaining. One or trade's gonna go down on the board. 2 members down on each side. 3 down. It's just Sidra left, but the time is not gonna be their friend. And T.O.F.F, sorry, will fend off Inxecutioners and will win game number 3. And honestly, it felt like T.O.F.F, they won the game, but they were playing very passive the entire time. I feel like they were just waiting for an opportunity that was right there, and they just really couldn't take full advantage of it.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I'm not sure what we were waiting for. It seemed like they were waiting for some sort of a go signal, some sort of a go button. It's very possible they lost the in-game leader there with that drop, and maybe there was just a little bit of miscommunication to go. But it does feel like their play has been passive, even through the previous 2 matches too. They've just been very passive about when to go forward, when do we take our advantage and press it. So I think that is one of the things that's really hurting them. Like when Inxecutioners are really pressing the tempo and kind of deciding when the game happens, you are kind of at the mercy of that. So T.O.F.F kind of got a little bit lucky here. I also want to call out, like, for what it's worth, when you got the one pick, it would have been easy to just seal the deal, get the claim in the basket, and just seal the game there. So I also want to call it out. Don't lose sight of your objective too, because that's one of those things where, yeah, it's easy to play for picks and kind of try to make sure you give yourself advantage. Remember what your win conditions are, figure out what they are, and then capitalize on them. Because in that 3v4 situation, your win condition is just simply just make sure your numbers are up and make sure they don't score. They did a good job of that, but how long can they really kind of live on that level of, I don't want to call it luck, but just that convenience?
Yeah, like it is a convenience that their biggest boon, the crab, was basically eliminated from play. Yeah, it was gone for like half the game. So I think if you're Inxecutioners, since you can't go back to Rainmaker or Zones, since you did win those 2 games, I think you run it back on Clan Blitz. A different map, of course. I think I don't know if you want to play the same thing again, but like a different map would be very, very helpful, or same mode would be very, very helpful here, because, like, listen, you saw how kind of passively T.O.F.F played that entire time. If you stick with Clan Blitz here, you can kind of force them to either make mistakes by pushing forward too fast, or you kind of force tempo, because like we saw, the roller was doing damage. We saw the decap was doing a lot of damage. Those bubbles did a really good job of taking space. So I think they stick with Clan Blitz. Honestly, they want to push. They want to keep up tempo.
Yeah, I don't actually hate that. I think if you even want to try to maybe push this a little bit along, you go to something smaller. Something like a Barnacle and Dime or a Mako Mart, where you don't necessarily need to go through the whole map, where it's a little bit more compact to kind of get yourself your plays don't necessarily need to do that, where the bubble covers so much space you can just kind of get in and score very quickly. So I'm inclined to agree with you, Topic. Like, that feels like the right play. And then just kind of, again, run it back. Because I think if you're Executioners, you're not scared. You understand that you are the aggressive team. You understand that you are winning your duels. Everything's kind of going your way. You can kind of just shrug that last map off and just run it back, it feels like.
Yeah, and honestly, I kind of agree with going Barnacle here, because they have double bubble, honestly, kind of underrated. Like, you have one bubble in zone, one bubble on enemy plat. They really can't move, and you have Crab as well to kind of force that fight, especially on that top left side. Very, very dangerous, very, very deadly. So honestly, going Clams with Barnacle works perfectly here.
Yeah, they just run it back. All right, fine. Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm not even mad about that, really. Like, sure, you were probably winning that map anyway, so if you feel like you've got it, go for it. I see nothing really wrong with that. Like I said, I think Executioners probably understand that without the DC, they would have won this, so why not just do the same thing? The one thing this does do for T.O.F.F is it does give their morale a little bit of boost. They kind of now see the game plan and kind of get a chance to kind of run it back and do it again from their side. They just need to step up and be a little bit more aggressive. Even if you're not winning your 1v1s, even if you're not taking your fights and winning them, just kind of leaving the chaos behind you for your clams to get in or your set plays to go off does so much more. So T.O.F.F not quite out of the woods here on match point.
Yeah, because honestly, I think this can really go Inxecutioners' way, because like we've been saying this entire time, T.O.F.F has kind of been on their back foots at the beginning, right? Inxecutioners, they get the first kill, they do a really good job of kind of stacking on top of that, you know what I mean? Like, they get the kill, they get mid, the decab roller, they go in, Crab is popped, Pencil gets cooler, and then it's just snowball keeps on getting bigger, snowball keeps on rolling. So I think now if you're T.O.F.F, you kind of know what to expect, right? I doubt there's gonna be a lot of switch ups, because it worked so well for them these past couple of games, especially last game. It worked well until that unfortunate DC. So I think if you're T.O.F.F, you know what they're gonna run. I think you can do a much better job of canceling that, because I think the biggest catalyst of what caused Inxecutioners' first push was the Octobrush going down first. Once that went down, mid completely taken over. So now I think now if you're T.O.F.F, you can do a much better job of playing around that. You do a much better job of making sure that your brush is in a good spot, so they can not be picked off so easily.
I mean, yeah. Oh, change of plans. Okay, we are going to go to museum. I believe in the rulebook they can't run it right back, so that would check out. So we're going to go to museums instead. Still don't hate it. Kind of fits in the Barnacle and Dime idea. Still a bit smaller. Still kind of works in their favor, especially because once you get control of that middle spot, something like the edit can really kind of take over. You have so much range on that, whereas something like the pencil doesn't, it reaches, but it doesn't reach as far. So I actually do kind of like this for the Inxecutioners in a lot of ways. They have been winning on the flanks, on the slaying front, on their frontliners. And I do think that is, oh, interesting. I do think that makes sense. Like, I think if you're going to try to play to your advantage, which is taking these angles, these kinds of side fights and winning on flanks, it works in your favor. I think this is the right call from Inxecutioners.
Yeah, it looks like, hey, Inxecutioners, they're sticking with it. And for T.O.F.F, interesting change. Sidra going over to the Forge Pro with Booyah. So very interesting going from the missiles to that Pro. And we're gonna see here that T.O.F.F, just like we were talking about earlier, they're playing a lot more together. They're not getting picked off one by one. They get 2 members down, but unfortunately, because of that pen just being that overlooking force there, just kind of forcing them back and not letting them get to that ramp. Because once they get to that ramp, they can do a lot of damage, especially with that Zip Catcher, especially with that Booyah Bomb. So we're gonna see what they can do here. But Adrian has something to say about that, getting one down, and T.O.F.F's kind of being caught flat foot here is gonna let them go 2 members down. And Inxecutioners, like nothing ever happened, just getting back to business. And you see how quickly they're taking a lot of space and how quickly that they're gonna build up a clam and get the first score of the game here.
Yeah, beautifully done. Again, that beautiful distraction play. Set the roller in, get ink down for it to run through. The crab will roll its way in, and they'll get that. Oh, they almost had it. I was to say, like, I love this. The Inxecutioners are using some great distraction plays and setting up for each other. You can tell the communication on their side is just firing on all cylinders, whereas T.O.F.F, it's there, but it seems like it's just falling a little bit short. Particularly in how they're taking these 2v1s and 1v1s. Like you said, they're playing a little bit more together, but they're not necessarily targeting the same squid, so they have to kind of keep that focus up, especially when there's 3 minutes on the clock and still so much game left to play.
I mean, you see EE on the side of Inxecutioners is going for a really nice flank on Digi, only able to get 1, but just making sure that Headed is out for just a second, giving their team something to work with here. We're going to see what else they can do, as Chris is going to get a nice pick. Booyah's going to come out, getting the pen down. I believe they didn't get cooler as well, so that's very, very good for T.O.F.F, but can they take advantage of that is the question. And so far, it looks like the answer will be no, because Inxecutioners, it feels like every time one member has went down for Inxecutioners, it doesn't matter. They're just still on the same script. They're not a beat has been missed this entire time, because Inxecutioners, they're already back into the base and just putting up so much pressure, with Chris getting a double kill. Brush is gonna go in, getting 2, getting 3, I believe. No, not in time to get that 3rd one, but Inxecutioners just putting their foot on the gas basically this entire game here.
That's the change I wanted to see. They're playing a little bit more. They're not being afraid to take fights, and they're also just using these angles a bit more. A great Zipcaster goes in, or trying to find anybody. Goes a little bit deeper, just try to put some ink down, catches 1 with it. That's work done, and now the rest of the team is free to follow it up. I love that. Great play.
Yeah, I love it too, but can they score? You see they're going to be here. Sidra just pinning up, making sure something can get done. But the Crab coming out, getting 1. I believe that Crab got 2 kills. Agent on the flank gets another one. The ball is going to be there. That's still going to be there. Is it going to get in the basket is the question. Yes, it will before going down. But I got a question. Is that really worth it? Because now you have no follow-up. You didn't get the lead. Maybe at 81 points. And Inxecutioners, you just gave them a free ball. So if they get in, like they're going to do right here with 2 members down, your push, or their push, is to be a whole lot better than it would have been.
Yeah, I mean, it was a desperation play. You feel like you had to kind of get in there, but Inxecutioners have no problem playing a little bit slow. Zipcaster goes in, but the clam was saved. Like you said, it was a free clam. Inxecutioners did have the economy. They got out with what they needed, but I mean, T.O.F.F, again, they're taking advantage. They're holding the space fairly well here, down to the last minute and a half. Means there's probably time for 1 push. So if T.O.F.F end up with a power clam, they have the specials online. They just need to get in, and that's kind of where they faltered.
I mean, yeah, you saw they popped the Booyah, they popped the strikes as well. They only managed to get one pick out of it. So all those resources didn't manage to do a whole lot in terms of picks, but they are able to score. No, they're not. Stop just short. The bubble's coming out to kind of protect that ball in a sense. It looks like T.O.F.F's push will be stopped before he even has a chance to start to go down. Looking for that third Digi, making it out alive by the skin of their teeth, getting a ball as well on the way out. And T.O.F.F, unfortunately, they aren't able to capitalize on that because they had the Booyah, they had the strikes, but no one was able to go in with that. So now they're stuck back in mid. The ball's gonna get destroyed as well. And now if you're T.O.F.F, you don't have a ball. You have 30 seconds. You need a ball right now if you want a chance at getting this game.
The claims for one, so they should be able to put one together as overtime clicks. The problem is they are down one with one special up, and no clue where Adrian is, so they're not going to get it out. The Booyah Bomb goes a little bit wide. Sidra manages to trade it out, but they say they don't have it. They're down all four, which basically means that pushes over, and Inxecutioners win it by just sheer determination. Jump in, back out. Yeah, okay. There'll be one last shot here for T.O.F.F.
I mean, yeah, there's overtime. Strikes are live. Zipcaster's live. You need to go now. Time. The clock is ticking. The Zipcaster going in, going to go down, but not without getting a trade. Strikes going in as well. Digi here with the cooler and going in.
Oh, got it.
And actually, hold on, going to score at the 11th hour. T.O.F.F just snatches victory from the jaws of defeat, and somehow, some way, they find a break in Inxecutioners' armor and able to sneak by and get the game win and forces a game 5 despite looking basically down and out this entire game. Hey, it worked out. They got the last laugh. They was able to win the game.
You know, the one interesting thing about Clan Blitz is we all view it here in the community, at least I do anyways, is one of the more team-oriented. You know, you kind of need your set plays to go. But you know what happens in ranked? Sometimes the one person just hero runs it down mid, gets it in there on the back of a well-placed special and just kind of hero plays it in. That happens so much. So it wasn't pretty, but sometimes these wins don't need to be pretty for a team like T.O.F.F. You just need to make sure you get in and get the difference. That's kind of what I was expecting out of them. They weren't going to win this on team play if they were going back to Clan Blitz. They were going to win on just sheer, like, brute force and good timing. There was a lot of good things and teamwork that did apply, but overall, like you said, both baskets from them were kind of just in by the skin of their teeth, kind of just by one player just sheer brute forcing it in. So that'll work for now, but in game 5 with the map mode choices that are available, I don't know that they can get away with this for one last time.
Yeah, kind of go what you said at a different way. T.O.F.F kind of had that grit and grind mentality where they gave up space, not a lot, because Inxecutioners, despite having a lot of good opportunities, only scored once. It's got 80. That was it. So T.O.F.F, they just grinded it out. Overtime came. They just got one person in and able to get the game. But now, if you're Inxecutioners, you won on zones, you can't go there. You won on Rainmaker, you can't go there. You lost Clan Blitz twice. I don't know if you want to go back to there. So really, you have, you can't go to Clan Blitz if you want. I don't know if they want to, but really, you have Tower. And honestly, I think that kind of plays a bit more into T.O.F.F's more like drawn out the game play style, because, you know, like we both know, the tower kind of moves kind of slowly at times. So I think if you're T.O.F.F, or I think if you're Inxecutioners, I won't see Clan Blitz again. I think it'd be really funny, but I don't know if you want to go there.
All right, hear me out. Topic. Here's my counterpoint to this. Rainmaker is only slow if you aren't winning your duels. If you constantly win your duels, get your picks, and the rest of your team, your front line is way in the front line and just winning, that tower just soars through very quickly. So I could actually see a world where maybe Inxecutioners just go, all right, let's just pick our best tower control map and just assume and force we're going to try to win on the front line, as opposed to letting it be the slow pick-based game where we're worried about getting cooler and going from there. So I do actually think there's a world that tower control is probably the better angle for you. What exact map, I'm not going to pretend to speculate on, but I do see a world where maybe, like you said, like you've lost 2 in a row on Clan Blitz. You probably aren't feeling that right now. I do actually think tower control might play in their favor, just given that they are a little bit more of a frontline oriented team with that roller, you know, something that maybe gives you a little bit more up and down, a little more verticality to play with. I think that actually could work in your favor if you're the Inxecutioners to close out the set.
I mean, I think we're both wrong, because at least I don't know if it's confirmed, but it looks like it might be Zone's Mako. I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
That's what it's saying on SenduQ, or on Sendu. It looks like that's not gonna be right. So it looks like they are gonna be going to the tower or Clan Blitz a third time. Who knows? But yeah, if we go to the tower, like you said, if Inxecutioners, because I like their comp. They have that double bubble.
Yeah.
You can like put it like in crucial spots where the tower needs to go to kind of like slow the game down. That would be, or to not slow the game down, to slow the enemies down.
Yeah.
That could be very huge. T.O.F.F also very not passive.
They're passive.
Yeah,
They're
okay.
passive.
Yeah. Very passive gameplay, kind of that bubble forcing them back into their base, into these unoptimal spots. Very, very helpful. So honestly, they might go tower. Like,
yeah.
They really don't have any. They don't have a lot of like expansion. They don't have a lot of options, basically.
No, they don't have the options, but I do think, like you said, this double bubble comp really just does work in a lot of different ways. Like you said, this comp does so well is it controls space. The 2 bubbles will buy you so much time and the ability to hold these spaces wherever you want to set up, wherever your frontliner wants to be. The crab in the backline is great at just taking the space and being a threat that you have to respect, because it's been very clear as we've made it to game 5 that crab player is hitting shots. They are not missing, they are getting value, and they are going to be tough to punish. So I actually do think that in the Inxecutioners, like the more kind of map you can control and the more value you can get out of just controlling various parts, you know, from your crab, from your bubble placement on your front lines, like I think that just works out in your favor. And there's nothing easier to do than just getting into the position and forcing that you want to be in, and forcing T.O.F.F to just respect that, because T.O.F.'s disengages from those fights have been fairly good. We saw it on Clan Blitz. They get out when they lose 1, they respect it, they get 3 and they go, okay, we'll try again. But that's easily punishable when you have the position you want to be in if you're Inxecutioners.
Yeah, and I think the only bad thing, not a bad thing, the only like thing they have to play around is, of course, Hen has been playing Slosher with strikes. So if you're Inxecutioners, I think what you want to do if you go to tower control, you kind of want to bait out those strikes. You want to make sure that they pop those strikes on the bubble, or you have someone there like Adrian or Chris to shut that down immediately. You want to make sure, because we both know GG strikes are a thing. Yeah. They're going to be used no matter what. So I think if you are Inxecutioners, I think honestly, Hen's your biggest target. Like
yeah.
Or Sidra if they go back to the or if they stick with the Forge Pro. But those 2 are your biggest targets, because they can just end the game right then and there if you give them the space or to charge your specials and give them time to, like, you know, get in a good spot, a safe spot, and use them. So I think those are the only like thorns in the side of Inxecutioners here.
I do think you're right. But I also would say that I don't know if the Inxecutioners have been necessarily poor on the target selection and like target, you know, like making sure they get their targets. I don't know that that's necessarily been a problem to it, but like you said, I think the one thing that they have to be aware of is that T.O.F.F has kind of got this renewed energy out of those last 2 wins. So even though you know your targets, even though you know where you're going, I do think you kind of have to be at least a little bit aware that the mental has shifted. You know, you were up 2-0 and you were kind of pummeling them at that point. You kind of just carry that momentum. Now with T.O.F.F, the mental momentum has been in their favor. So you have to make sure you're just as clean as you have been. You probably didn't expect this to get all to 5. And mind you, we're still in round 1. We're still in like winners round 1 here. So if this is like an indicator of your first game, if you're the Inxecutioners, this is going to be a long day.
I mean, yeah, I agree, because like we saw game 1 dominant, just dominant game. Game 2 also very dominant. Also, I think we have our game 5.
We do have it.
You're not gonna believe it, we're going back to Scored's Clam. So Inxecutioners, they want that run back from game 3. And honestly, they scored first. They got to what I believe to 40. It was either 41 or 42. I don't remember the exact number, but it was like low 40s. So honestly, if they just, the unfortunate DC, if they played like they did at the start of the game, at the start of the set, game 1, game 2, game 3, before the DC, if they played like that, this could be an easy like 80 to like 20.
Yeah, I'd love to present some sort of high-level analysis for this, but like, it's just very simple. Just don't have the DC again, because like you said, they were winning, they were cruising, they were in control of the clams, and their aggression was working in their favor to not just control the clam economy, make sure they always had a ball up, but to make sure that, you know, the back line from the side of T.O.F.F just couldn't really help contest on the front line or help with any of the stops. Like we said, we kind of Sendoki was just kind of not happy with us trying to do this, so give it a minute. We're kind of working around this, but you know, like we kind of alluded to in game 4, like I don't hate this. This is perfectly fine. You kind of know you had the win previously. Just run it back. I see nothing wrong here. Like there's not much to say. Just don't DC again, and you're probably fine.
Yeah, it looks like both these teams are ready. No changes, so what worked game 4, gonna work game 5. And I think, again, the biggest boon inside of T.O.F.F is gonna be both Adrian and Chris. We saw they played really well, they saw they played really aggressive, and they took advantage of T.O.F.'s kind of passivity here. Let's see if they can do it again, but off start, T.O.F.F playing a lot safer than before. No immediate deaths, making sure you have at least a little bit of space to work with. Unfortunate timing there, but we're gonna see the Inxecutioners, kind of like we saw in that game 3, just a very good start. They got mid, they got the top side, and they're getting these picks, and so far it's working out. EE unfortunately gonna go down there to the brush going for a flank, getting the jump out. Honestly, it's kind of surprising there, and now T.O.F.F in a good spot. The zip caster is gonna be popped. Booyah's at the ready, so now they have a lot to work with here, but can they capitalize on that is a real question.
They have a lot to do, but they are committing. If you're T.O.F.F a little bit too earlier, you need to get picks and value with these specials, and you are trading 1-for-1 right now, but again, it just seems to be a great stop there. Yeah, or it just, again, coming through. Those triple strikes kind of feel a little bit out, again, a little bit wasted. We would have loved to keep those for the push forward, but, you know, considering T.O.F.F doesn't have the clam economy, that's kind of the best case scenario. We're kind of back into the same old song and dance here. Inxecutioners with a ball up, be the aggressors looking for a pick to go onto with 3 specials. They kind of just have the advantage going into this next fight.
Yeah, there's a crab, double bubble, but on the brush, just being a little sneaky there, getting another one, I believe, before going down. So T.O.F.F just kind of matching what Inxecution is doing. Yes, they are still playing a bit passive, but they're getting the picks, and that's what's really slowing Inxecutioners down. They're not getting killed without getting any value here. Unfortunate timing there. 3 members are gonna go down. There's the wipeout. So Inxecutioners just say, hey, we're gonna run at you, and it works. The bubble got destroyed. Guess what? Got second one, and we're gonna keep up the scoring.
Yeah, 50 and climbing with 3 minutes to go here. I see a couple claims coming in. The roller does fall, though, with the bubble down. That probably means that's the end of that push. But, I mean, you're literally, quite literally halfway there. So I don't think you're upset about that. You have a cooler going into this. And just, I mean, a well-done set play from Inxecutioners. They just, you could tell they built up their specials and ready to go. The pushback is here. T.O.F.F doesn't have a lot to go with here. So they're going to have to make these 2 specials do some work. I really want to see these strikes go forward, though, and just force the chaos.
Yeah, they are going to go. You see the brush trying to go in with those strikes as well, with the zip caster trying to get something going here. You see one on the flank. Adrian's going to go down. Ball is not going to disappear because Head's going to pick it up in time and get out of the view of that sniper. But now, if you're T.O.F.F, you gotta at least put something bit forward. You saw the brush they go when they didn't get a pick, but they go down. 2 members down on the side of Inxecutioners as well. Another going down as well. Digi gonna go win, but Adrian is not gonna get the pick in time. Booyah coming out. That's one. Looking for a second. That's not gonna get it in time. 2 members of T.O.F.F are gonna be here trying to score, but this ramp is very, very hard to get up. Hen getting one a bit too far away from that, and Inxecutioners, sorry, we're gonna stop that push. That could have been really, really deadly there because you saw that Hen was a little bit too far when putting that second power clam in.
Yeah, it was a little bit closer. I actually would love to see them again get a little bit more aggressive. You had the opening pick, you got one in. You need to see all hands on deck for that. And getting that second power claim would have basically brought us to the level. So now at 1.5 minutes, I do kind of actually think Inxecutioners here like 13 clams. They have one up. They have a cooler up. They're just looking for a first opening pick before they go forward into it. Try to see if they can get somebody. That's a great opener.
Yeah, great opener indeed. Adrian has that bubble, but the strike's going to force them away along with that Zipcaster as well.
That's fine.
Get something. Yeah, but you see Adrian just going back in a good spot for rollers, making sure that no one sees them there. Side yard going forward, going in the backlines to be Adrian, just getting some damage off on everybody here. Double bubble at the ready, plus the crab as well. Kind of get them in. There it is. You see Deb, two both at the ready. Booyah coming out on the bubble. It's going to shred it. And that bubble, or that Booyah plus the flank from the Octobrush is gonna stop that push in its tracks, and T.O.F.F are gonna get in a good spot here, but unfortunately just a bit too quick for the rest of the team here, as T.O.F.F, that ball might just die before it has a chance to get in, and yeah, it will.
It was another hero play out of T.O.F.F. We made the stop and we tried to push the aggression, but unfortunately we didn't quite have the numbers or the commitment to follow it up. So, I mean, there were 30 seconds. Overtime is going to be looming here. I mean, clams are basically even, so this is going to come down to the wire. It's going to come down to this opening picks here on this last fight. Specials do favor T.O.F.F for now, so they need to get aggressive on this. If they get a pick, and they can easily build a clam with what's around, but they need to get a pick before they do anything. No, that's worst case scenario.
Yeah, worst case scenario, no cooler on both sides, but you need a ball right now, or else this game will just be over. 3, 2, 1, no ball. I believe one had 7 clams. They couldn't get it in time, and Inxecutioners will survive a scare from T.O.F.F, who really, they grit and grinded those first two wins, and honestly, this was close. Despite the score being 50-80, this could have been a the game could have swapped over to the top side any second.
It was fairly close, but I do think that Inxecutioners are fairly also in control the whole way through. You saw how they were controlling the map. That pick, particularly at the end, to deny a lot of those clams, just recognizing, look, we have the lead. We understand what we need to do. Let's just deny the clams, just deny the space. Don't let them make one. And we close this out. I will say the hero play from Hen on T.O.F.F at the end there with that last clam was, I think, the right idea. I don't actually think, if my math is close, I don't know that it would have gotten them over the line to the lead, but it would have at least given them something to work with. But I think it was just the right call of Inxecutioners. You know, they wanted this 2 maps ago also. They wanted this the last 2. So they finally just got what they were looking for. It was a very close set, but like you said, I think the Inxecutioners were just, they handled it well. They just kind of stumbled a little bit once that DC came in.
Yep, and honestly, shout out to T.O.F.F. They took full advantage of it. Yeah, it did take a little bit of time. It did, you know, it took, there was some growing pains, but they did manage to get that win. They snuck one out in game number 4, and on game 5, they brought it close, but just moving up a bit, or the brush moving up a bit too fast for the rest of the team, and that was all she wrote. And Inxecutioners will move on. And T.O.F.F, hey, you put up a fight. That's like, you really did put up a fight, so can't really be too mad about that.
Yeah, I don't think you have too much to be disappointed in. It's been a very, very solid run, but I mean, Inxecutioners, we will check them out later. So for now, I mean, we've got more incredible action coming ahead in a minute. We'll be back with 2 new teams in just a second, so hang tight while we go on a quick break to get it all together.
inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire, no more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words, stop stalling in the doorway, and cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual, don't you wanna feel right?
Welcome back, everyone, to CCA Div 4 Finals. With our semifinals match, we have TAMU Black, or Texas A&M University, the Black team, versus Rising Moon from Purdue University, Fort Wayne. I am Topic, joined once again by Soavdan, and you know what? We're going back to the past when we've seen last set, Hagglefish Market Zones. And Soavdan, what do you think about this?
Wasn't it Mako? Am I crazy?
Oh, wait, yeah, it's Mako.
It's Mako, yeah.
Yeah, the graphic.
Don't worry, man. That last set, that 5-map set was crazy, but this is gonna promise to be crazier. Map 1 is gonna open up a Mako Mart, but let's talk here. Let's get real. This is probably like the finals match. This is TAMU Black, #1 seed, undefeated through that section, through the Swiss section, coming in against Rising Moon, who earned theirs. Like we're kind of talking about this coming into this, but these two teams had not really crossed paths. So this is very possibly like the finals match here for the 1 and 2 seed from TAMU Black and Rising Moon. This is kind of, I think, going to be a very big deal. And even just looking over these players, like I remember TAMU being like a fairly bog standard team, but I do know they have a couple tricks up their sleeve. I also know that they're a damn good team from seeing them just across the CCA universe. So, I mean, that's quite an interesting lineup to start. There's a pretty more standard pencil look out of TAMU Black. So Rising Moon, I actually love this aggressive. That's 3 frontliners. That's 3 who can all deal with the verticality. I love that. That's such an aggressive play. I really like that.
Yeah, very aggressive, but I'm looking at Dr. Ness on that Luna kind of shut down those aggressive plays, because if you get near that Luna, you will just take a lot of damage and go down. But at least at the start, Rising Moon are going to take the first zone cap here. You see Texas A&M Black just trying to get something going. See the Wraith is at the ready. Nice one shot there, or one's going to go down on each side. Unfortunately, the Luna is not going to get any picks, forced to back or forced to go down here. Now you see Rising Moon, like I said, this aggressive comp, this in-your-face comp. They have the Reef, they have the Hammer, they're gonna have strikes in a second, so they can just kind of run at them. But unfortunately, 2 are gonna go down for either side. Minty gonna go in for that Dr. Nest. They're not gonna quite get the pick, forcing the Hammer pop going down as well. And Rising Moon is starting to just take control of this. And you see right here on the scoreboard right here, strikes are gonna come out to kind of cancel out that Reef Slider. And now Rising Moon is doing whatever they can basically to hold on.
I mean, they've got the edit into that frontal position, which is so big. Squishy has just been getting so much value from that line, but they need to, I respect that they're playing it safe, as they know the rest of these specials are coming into line. Control's going to flip briefly, but it will go back the way of Rising Moon eventually. Second slider comes in, goes a little bit longer for the kills, but it's 2 down for TAMU Black, so Rising Moon, they'll maintain control. Just, hey, big respect to them for kind of playing this through and still maintaining it. 2 for Mikel, though. Make it 3. What a wipeout. What a 3-piece. Beautifully done.
Yeah, that flank did a lot of damage. They were found out, but not before getting members down. And now TAMU Black just doing what they can. You see right here, strikes are cooler coming out. They have the bubble on the stack, very, very huge there. They have the Hammer at the ready as well. Gonna pop that, kind of force them back even further. Not quite getting picks with it, but you see, strikes came out. No one came along with it. Just zone. Playing it completely blue, and you see right here they're forcing one to jump out as well. And so far, just making sure they have the stack completely painted. Make sure they can. You see them rotating over to this side of the snipe here, trying to get something going. But you see the Reef coming out and counter to the first Reef coming out. Just a lot of mayhem in the zone, and Rising Moon will be the winners of this little scrum here. And Rising Moon just forcing back Dr. Nets, getting a pick on them as well. And now, if you're TAMU Black, you've proven you can do that once. Now you gotta do it again.
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit tough to come back into that because you don't have the position, and once you get this backliner, this Splatling into position for Rising Moon, you're going to have to dislodge them again, and that's going to be proved to be a little bit tough when you are just losing these side flank angles here. 2 minutes left, still plenty of time to fight, and the penalty has about 20 seconds, so TAMU Black just need to get the rest of these specials online and find a pick if they want to make a stop and make a set of pressure here on the point.
I mean, yeah, that's a good start there. You see, Hammer was popped in, thrown. Unfortunately, 2 going to go down on either side. That's 3. Looking for it. That's another one. Ness going for the pig. Not quite able to get it. Slump able to make it away within an inch of their life. Sharking as well. Somehow, you know what? Sploosh is gonna sploosh. Just running around like a circus at this point. Unfortunately, they're going to go down eventually. A minute and a half to go left in this game. So far, it's going to be very back and forth. And TAMU Black are going to hold on, forcing a jump out as well. But you see the Freeside is going to be at the ready for Rising Moon, so they can use that to get in. Use something else possibly as well as the Hammer is going to be at the ready as well. Unfortunately, 2 members going to go down for TAMU Black. Not a good start that you're looking for. Hammer's going to get popped, going to get thrown, not quite able to get any picks there. Shot just going to go in. Lead going to get lost. Polarity somehow staying alive. 1 going to go down, looking for even more. Jumping out within an inch of their lives to save that cooler, and Rising Moon able to get it, but not quite able to get that stack with what you really want to actually get the zone, because the roller here, Mikael, can just sit up here and just paint the zone pretty much uncontested.
Yeah, as I say, and that's the thing about TAMU's Black's comp, is that they're very hard to kind of get down. They're all very wily, and they all have dueling potential. So now that they're back firmly in control and whittling away at the penalty, TAMU Black looks very poised to kind of hold this out. They've shown that they can control the space, get the ink down, and contest. Look at how quickly up you see. There's always at least one player pushing these verticals and challenging them from approaching. 26 seconds means that Rising would have 1 shot to get into this, and they're already down 2, so they'll have to use this next push and these specials to try to even contest here.
I mean, yeah, shout out to TAMU Black for just canceling that Reflighter almost immediately along with that sploosh. So now, 10 seconds remaining, 13 ticks on the board. If you're Rising Moon, you have to go in right now, get some couple of picks here. You see the Testra and the sploosh in the zone. 1 going to go down, 2 going to go down. It's not going to be enough, and Rising Moon will fall. TAMU Black will hold on and get a really nice kind of last-second team fight to just win the game outright. Getting a triple kill really just pushed that in their favor, and honestly, that was a very back and forth game.
It was very close for the most part. I think the kind of deciding moment in the fight was really when you saw TAMU kind of just take the full space. We saw Dr. Ness end up basically in spawn with that hammer, but it was exactly what you needed to do. You kind of needed to pull attention away from the rest of that point and allow the rest of your team, who's basically, you're playing like a 3-1. You have 3 frontliners up there, 3 slayers, so you're basically trying to just play the sacrifice role to kind of pull the attention and let the rest of your team carry that up. That's not something a lot of teams necessarily know how to do or have in their playbook, but it worked for them. So that real kind of just acknowledgement of, look, we're going to control the space, we're going to try to be the distraction to the most we can, and then try to capitalize when you try to set up your approaches on these verticals, just worked in their favor. Beautifully done for them.
Yeah, and speaking of verticals, this map, TC Shipshape has one very high vertical point that you gotta pass through. That top right side, if you want to get towards that second checkpoint, you need to get up there, or you need to get someone, or you need to get up there, or you need to make sure no one gets up there on the enemy team. Because if they do, you're not getting past that second checkpoint. But even past that, we've seen from Rising Moon, this very upfront, this very in-your-face comp can work, because if you get a wipeout on this map, you can get to the enemy spawn, basically. You can get that left side grates, you can get that top side and kind of lock the enemy team out. But the question is, can you get there fast enough? Because we saw TAMU Black, they did a really good job of kind of responding to whatever Rising Moon did. Like, whenever they pop Reef, or Reef of their own, pop a hammer, they either A, shut it down, or just make sure they weren't around it. So it's a matter of can Rising Moon kind of push the momentum so far fast, so far forward, so far fast, that TAMU Black just can't respond. And so far, I don't know. Oh yeah, okay. I thought it was double sploosh. No, it's sploosh. And a splash.
Sploosh Splash team. Still, two very aggressive frontline weapons bringing in the hammer and the crab. The crab, just in case you need to get a little bit more turrety and squishy, kind of falls in that backline. But like you said, it's going to be a lot more interesting because TAMU has a little bit more mobility in their comp, whereas the pencil can just kind of take it. It takes a little bit more time for that edit to get into position to really do their job effectively, particularly on this. You can see it, squishy goes in there and immediately gets punished for trying to frontline that, and that's an easy wipeout for TAMU Black, who just swarm as they approach that high ground.
Yeah, Dr. Ness just kind of sitting up on that ledge, getting, I believe, 3 there. And now we talk about this map being very easy to kind of spawn camp on. Dr. Ness going in, getting 1 more, looking for a second, not quite getting a lot of damage on. And you see how quickly TAMU Black is working, getting up on this top left or top right side to say, hold this hammer for me, why don't you? Dr. Ness going in, getting a double kill. And that tower is just cruising by. Not an enemy in sight. Look how fast they are. Look how much space they've been taking. Look how quickly they got through that second checkpoint, and now they're 10 points from just winning this game outright. Strikes are gonna come out, but it's gonna be a second too late. And I think that was 45 seconds.
Yeah, that might be a record.
Yeah, they just, once they touched tower, they never let it go. They held on, they got into the spawn, they spawn camped, and just worked out completely in their favor.
Again, that's the verticality playing in TAMU Black's favor. That feels like a bit of it. The second we said ship shape, I was like, don't know about that decision. We just played a match where we just saw 3 very vertical weapons come out and play. And, shout out Dr. Ness on that redemption arc there. Ness had a pretty rough game in game 1. Absolutely the MVP for game 2 with that Luna, just making sure, tracking and denying all of those respawns as far up as they could. So, I mean, I kind of don't expect anything less from the number 1 seed, but man, they made that look easy. I would love to see the actual numbers, because that probably was like a CCA completion record if I had to guess.
I mean, yeah, I gotta think so too, and I think that was kind of the gamble Rising Moon took, because if you were to get in first, you could do the same thing to TAMU Black, but I think because they lost that fight so badly, if I can put it, they got wiped out, and we saw how fast Dr. Ness in particular, they got up to the spawn. You saw the rest of TAMU Black go over to that left side, that left grates, to watch that top left side just shut out completely. And now, if you're Rising Moon, you made your pick. You went to Clan Blitz Umami. I mean, if you stick with that crab, it can work from mid. You have that sploosh can go into the base basically for free if you can get some distractions going. You have strikes as well, very strong, but can you kind of slow down TAMU Black is the real question here, because we saw with game number 2, they can go from 0 to 100 in less than a second.
I kind of think, at least from my end, this edit's got to go. I kind of really just think that with how quick this game is moving, with how quick TAMU Black really gets in your face and forces you to do that, you don't really have the time. And like we saw in the last map, you don't really have the time to get your splat lane to set up, get in a position, and get eyes and start helping out on those fights, because you're just getting pressured off. So I do think if you are going to try to continue to do that, this is a good map for it for Rising Moon. But I don't know that I really am invested in that strategy. I do think it's going to force TAMU Black to maybe make 1 or 2 small changes, maybe in just the weapon size. Yeah, we'll get Dr. Ness over to the Whale, which I do think is a bit better. I like that just a lot to pressure out the players, while you're setting up. It's great, it's quick, it's easy, but what it does is control the space a little bit better in a world where you can't play Luna.
I mean, yeah, if you're Dr. Ness, your main job is to just kind of take attention away from your team, and so far, it's a good start, too. 3 members down on Rising Moon. The headache gonna at least stop it for now with Squishy getting a pick, but you see how much space TAMU Black has taken, because getting this top mid is very crucial. You pop in the strikes as well, kind of get your roller, and you see 2 down to the strikes without any help, getting the ball in as well. A couple clams to spawn on top of that, and TAMU Black starting to score, getting it down to 65 points. Crab coming out to at least kind of mitigate the damages here. It is going to work, but TAMU Black just setting the tone really, really early in this game. And if you're Rising Moon, you have to respond really quickly here. And so far, Dr. Ness with another really nice pick, and TAMU Black, like nothing has changed. They're still in mid, and they're still just putting up a lot of pressure on Rising Moon.
They did manage to get the early pick onto Dr. Ness, who's been a thorn in the side there, but you can kind of see it. They're not, it seems like the Rising Moon, they even have to commit triple splash just to get the little space they have back here. Again, I mean, Dr. Ness is already back in, so they're not able to really even kind of get everything together to go forward. 2 clams now up for TAMU Black, show me that they are ready to go. They're just kind of waiting for the next set play to come. It just feels like Rising Moon just can't quite get the room to breathe here.
I mean, yeah, you have Roller, you have Brush. These 2 weapons are very aggressive. They're making Rising Moon uncomfortable, and so far it's been working. Unfortunately, the hammer, or not the hammer, the strikes are going to go down preemptively there, and now Rising Moon, they're in mid, but it feels like you said, they've been stuck. They've been getting trades, like you see right there, but not a whole lot else, or they've just been going down, and TAMU Black has taken full advantage of that. Their kind of passivity, like we talked about in round number 1, with T.O.F.F, has been working against them, and so far, the bubble, the strikes as well, just using those in tandem to get the score and get even more going. You see the Roller going in, not quite able to get the pick, and thankfully for Rising Moon, the bleeding will stop with only, I believe, what, 15 points scored, but now, you gotta capitalize on that. You have to get space, but with how quickly TAMU Black is going to be back into mid and back into, you know, really aggressive spots, I don't know if they'll be able to.
I mean, yeah, you said it. Like, TAMU Black, they made the score, but they didn't fully retreat. They only just stepped away far enough so that they could take control of mid and continue to hold from the high ground. And it also then just allows Ness to get back in, all these frontliners to get back in, and just, again, keep the pressure up on Rising Moon here, who, again, like, Squishy keeps, you can see it, Squishy's trying to get any amount of space, trying to get paint down to build a cooler, but they can't find an angle where they go uncontested and unbothered. So even there, this cooler has to be big. There's no clam up, but they have to get some sort of pick and space back with this if they want to even start getting back. That's a great pick. That's what you need out of your backliner.
Yeah, great start, but now the rest of the team has to really capitalize on that. You see Minty, I believe, is up there with them, but no one else. So looks like they're just gonna give up the space for now. You see Minty going in and trying to get something, causing a distraction, able to do it, but not able to get a whole lot. And once again, Rising Moon is just gonna be 2 members down again.
Yeah, same old story as we heard here. 1.5 minutes to go. Means there's probably about 1 to 2 more fights onto this. Rising Moon is holding on to 1 whole power clam, so they've got at least a bit of an insurance policy, but they're struggling. They can't quite get this presence back, and they can't win the duels. Immediately spotted out. The communication and clarity from TAMU Black is just so huge. They see nothing with the whales, which means that it's probably a free run in on the basket, and yet again, they break it.
Yeah, able to break it. 2 power clams and a couple more clams from Polarity as well. This not quite enough to end the game, but you see, not even on screen.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is. There it is. Dr. Ness is gonna do it. Maybe you see Rising is gonna be there just dancing around, able to throw it before they go down. And TAMU Black, a very dominant 3-0, in my opinion. Or just not in my opinion, just on the screen. Like, that, especially during that 3rd game, they kept Rising Moon uncomfortable. That pick to the brush really helped because it made sure that even if they went down, or even Dr. Ness went down, they caused so much attention towards themselves that the rest of the team just went in, or they just held mid, and it worked out really, really well for them because I think they've lost mid like twice the entire game for like 20 seconds. Like 10 seconds for the entire game.
Yeah, they definitely did not give up any space. So that was kind of, you know, I think that's kind of the big overarching bullet point for this map is that TAMU Black really just kind of controlled all of the space. They really kind of used the full map to their potential, making sure they didn't get that. And then also communicating when someone was in their space, whenever somebody had eyes on them. We saw those flanks try to come through from Rising Moon, but just immediately get shut out as by 1 or 2 of the squids just turning right onto them. So TAMU Black, a very dominant statement here, showing why they are the #1 seed, why they went undefeated. And I don't know, Topic. If I was a betting man, I'm shoving it all on TAMU Black to win this div right here, because that was a very, very dominant performance versus the #2 seed.
I mean, yeah, as a betting man myself, I would also like to put my money on TAMU Black, but hey, they still have a couple sets to play. The other semi set is still going on. It looks like Shrimple has that is gonna take a 1-0 lead, but Hey, we're gonna see. We have a couple minutes before that gets ready. But like I said, we have a couple minutes, so we're gonna take a very quick break. Let the other set get finished, and then we'll be back with Div 4 finals or winners finals, I should say. So stay right there. We got more Splatoon College action coming up to you in a few minutes.
Inside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire. No more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, and I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway. And cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right? Shake the mind, speeding up the pace, turning up the heat, where I need to be for the first time. I'm taking risks, I'm casting off without a lifeline. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words. Stop stalling in the doorway and cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual. Don't you wanna feel right again? Don't you wanna feel whole? Don't you wanna feel?
Well, everyone, I hope you are ready for more CCA Div 4 action with our winners finals this time. You know, a team we've seen before in TAMU Black. Very, very dominant semifinal set versus a little bit of a Texas showdown, if you may call it. Shrimple as that, based out of the University of Houston. I am Topic, joined once again by Soavdan, and a very, very interesting first game. We have Zone's Mahi and Soavdan. Any thoughts on this one?
Well, considering we just watched TAMU Black kind of run through the competition on small maps that require, managing some higher grounds, I do think that TAMU's composition is probably a little bit set for this. They have a lot of tools to deny anybody who might want to see it set up. The pencil, if you have a heavy edit, come back in. They do have a lot of tools for this, but I think it's going to be a bit of a question mark toss up once we get to the back half of the map and everything kind of opens up a little bit. So I will say I kind of think TAMU maybe has a little bit of an edge here, but to Shrimple, as that's credit, they are probably the best chance of taking down Frieza here. Like, they took a map earlier through the division. They are like one of the two teams to do it. So if any team really has the chance to kind of, go for the main character here, it's Shrimple as that. They have some good players on their team. I've seen them play throughout this season. They are a very good team, but this is going to be quite a toss-up, I think, here, Topic.
Yeah, I mean, listen, all it takes is one. You get this first game, you get that momentum, and then it kind of snowballs from there. But of course, it starts with the first one. But what we saw from TAMU Black that last set, very aggressive. You saw he had that roller. Dr. Ness went to the brush for that second and third game. Oh no, for that second game, for that last game. Sticking with that Luna for the other two. So I think they're gonna stick with that very, really aggressive comp, that really, really in your face play style. But we're gonna see both these teams already in raring to go from the side of from TAMU Black. From the side of TAMU Black, I believe we're seeing kind of similar. Only thing Sophie's in instead of Dr. Ness, going with the V dualies or V squelchies. Very interesting there. From the other side, from Shrimple as that, very interesting weapons here. Aerospray Carbon. ZF Charger, not once. Wait, hold on. ZF Charger plus Ballstring. Double backline. You know what? I'm here for it. Let's see what they can do. And so far, it's working out for them.
I do like it. You can get a lot of chip damage in. That screen does a lot of just preventing and allowing your flankers to come through and get the value. But, it might just be, again, maybe some niche tricks that maybe you don't necessarily scrim against for TAMU Black. So maybe just caught off guard a little bit here, because TAMU Black, as they swing this back in their favor and get control, they're now in position to kind of control from these lower, these kind of high grounds here. And Mikel does just unfortunately take the loss, but again, stopping at 72, get control, get the lead back. It's still, like you said, going to be a bit back and forth here on this opener. No real team has like a clear advantage. They're trading fairly evenly.
Yeah, I mean, Skelly, I believe I have like 3 or 4 in a row. Make that 5, actually. Just keep Shrimple as that in really good spots, trying to go for this top snipe area. You see that there's really putting a lot of attention towards that because they know they get that. They're in really good spot. Skelly will go down, but not before Shrimple as that is able to take the lead. 2 members go down, so Team Black opportunity here. They have all 4 members up. They're going to have a wave breaker in a second, but no. Vina says no way for you with that hammer, looking for a second one, is able to get it just in time. Reef coming out for the zone, not quite able to get it as well, and Shrimple as that in a good spot. They have that snipe painted. You see they're going for one. They're going to get it. 2 members down. Mikhail there on top of mid, just trying to paint over, getting one. Screen's going to be there, going to we're off there. TAMU Black just fighting through it, just painting the zone as much as they can. One going to go down, looking for even further, but Shrimple as that, not skipping a beat, 1 for 1 on either side. They need to get this zone now. They're not, oh no, they are able to get it just in time. Yeah, it was a flip. The Reef side are able to get another one, and TAMU Black will at least stop the bleeding before it gets even worse. But now they have a very long way to go, and Shrimple as that putting up a very good fight here.
Yeah, say this is kind of what we were hoping here in regards to anybody who could put TAMU Black down. You know, a lot of it is just the specials being used there. 2 down now for the side Shrimple as that. So it looks like TAMU Black, now that they've got firmly control of the space here, they kind of got everything they want to go. Polarity's trying to get some shots in, but it's more about just keeping the ink down and keeping the rebuild. The hammer is spotted out, but nothing can really be done about it for now. So TAMU Black has to play a little bit passive and just let this go for now.
I mean, yeah, we saw that Hammer did get 2 kills. Sophie managing to keep their life by the skin of their teeth, getting 1, but the second one is going to claim their life. Wow. And TAMU Black just painting the zone, but Mikhail on the flank able to get the at least neutral for a second there, but not able to get Vina down. As we see on the other side, Eggs rushing down with the arrow spray to force out the members of TAMU Black, getting a kill as well before going down themselves. Just a lot of trades, and so far Shrimple as that will be the ones to capitalize on that and be the victors. But you see Azuka and Hammer at the ready, so TAMU Black has to be a little bit careful there because they know that Shrimple as that can punish them really quickly.
Yeah, they said we've seen them kind of punish that whenever they get spotted out approaching some of these mid to long range you know, weapons. They just get kind of punished out. Beautifully done from Vinlu to get through that, scare everybody out, and kind of take back that space there. But now that TAMU Black are firmly in control with about a minute left, it's gonna come down to, again, just can they keep hold here? They have the presence, but they need to keep the map control that we saw in game 1. That sniper just good for 1, and that's the dangerous. They haven't been able, TAMU hasn't really been able to get back and contest and keep the chaos in the back line. So that's where Shrimple is that really succeeding here.
Yeah, I think this double backline kind of forces them to play a bit further back. They can't get Mikhail in, they can't get the Dread in, they can't get that because you have Wellstring, which paints a lot for itself in its team. You have the strikes, but never mind that. 2 are going to go down for Shrimple as that, looking for the triple, not quite able to find it, as the Charger just dancing around, trying to stay away or keep their life for as long as possible, able to do so, and still have those strikes at the ready, have that X Factor in play. Vina's gonna go down, but Shrimple is able to take the zone. Reef's coming in, gonna flip it. Actually, no, it's not gonna flip. Oh, yes, it is. It is gonna flip it. But again, just a lot of fighting. But this arrow spray, just doing what they can. Eggs painting the zone, making sure that they can do as much damage. But they're gonna go down, and Shrimple as that in a very precarious spot here because final 5 seconds of regular time here, it's overtime, and TAMU Black, they're scoring, and they're scoring quick, but a good start here with 2 members down.
That's the opener you need to get. First pick needs to go to Shrimple. That they found 1. The hammer's in. That's enough to just flip this back over and win it. Beautifully done. Just recognizing the Wellstring needs to close that out. Shrimple is that taking game 1 was, again, maybe I was a little too hyped on TAMU Black, but Shrimple is that really showed that with their unique comp. It really kind of forced TAMU Black to kind of reevaluate how they approach the kind of double backliner. Really were able to cover each other down and make those calls out so that there was no way for TAMU to get in and really kind of contest on that sniper. And the sniper was hitting shots. Like usually even the threat of a sniper is just enough to be, you know, maybe just be a little bit of a deterrent. But when the sniper is actually hitting shots and you're here and you're just know you're getting picked 1 tap out of the sky like that, it can be a bit infuriating. So TAMU really finally coming up against their first challenge, it feels like so far. Now that the ball's in their court though, we have to kind of consider what do we do to that, because it's obvious that they've got that Shrimple that has a lot of interesting picks in their pocket.
Yeah, and I think if you're TMU Black, I think it's a little tricky what you go here, because I think you do want to go to a bit of a smaller map, like kind of like Mahi, because you don't want those backliners to do a lot of damage, right? You don't want them to be able to perch up in a safe spot and let them do whatever. But also, you kind of don't want to go to a bigger map, because, well, you kind of not negating, but you're kind of lowering negating. You're kind of negating your own roller, which we've seen do a lot of damage. So it's like you're in a tricky spot here, really.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to really think about what map mode would be good for them.
I mean, the one thing that continues to stand out, considering the TAMU Black hasn't changed their comp at all, is you still want to be playing very vertical. So, if we ended up back at Mako Mart, I still wouldn't be very disappointed. You had a great first set there. I could see that making a return. Even like Gorge, if that's for some reason you're feeling like Clam Blitz Gorge, you do have a lot of verticals that you can play into and kind of make it through. I do think that that's really how you want to look at this. Whatever your mode pick is, you kind of want to continue to play the vertical, because you're then forcing the backliners of Shrimple's that to kind of play a little bit more back and really have to rely on their range to kind of outplay you. So it'll be tough. We'll have to see what's on their mind, because this is their first loss, I think, this entire bracket run as well.
I will confirm that in just 1 second. And yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's their first loss this entire time. And honestly, I'm thinking of at least right now, they have double backline. My first thought, Rainmaker. You can it's gonna be hard, of course, to get in, but once you do, you kind of force those backline. You kind of like putting them in a really bad spot, a really precarious situation where they're being rushed down, so they don't have that time to get that charge with the charger, get that bow ready with the well string. So it's going to be very, very difficult. So honestly, I could see either Rainmaker or honestly Clam Blitz. One of the two could work really well here.
Both of those I could really see. Tower control probably plays least into your hands if that's your case, just because they're playing double backliner, which means they're going to be able to set, once they get set up and they cover it down, they should be okay. But I also don't think, the last time we saw TAMU play on Rainmaker, they just spawn camped, pushed the tempo very, very quickly, forced them into spawns and went from there. So, I don't write that off as a viable strategy for them as well. You can't do the damage if you can't get set up. So, just going to take a minute to still figure out where do you go from here, because that loss wasn't like a bad loss, but you definitely recognize that if you're TAMU, this was just a bad compositional matchup for you.
Yeah, I'm really trying to think, because we did see, at least on our side, that Dr. Ness did sub back in for TMU Black. So I think you really want to play into that, because we saw they played very aggressive, and when they did play very aggressive, the rest of the team the momentum kind of went
fed on
them.
him.
Yeah, they fed off of him. So I think going with a Rainmaker or Clams, that more aggressive mode, could be very helpful there to kind of take full advantage of that. Heck, we might even see Clams Umami, what we saw from last set, because we saw how well that worked out for them.
Yeah, I think there's still a lot of options. I think if you're TAMU Black, there's not all hope is lost. It's not really a bad loss that you're really too concerned of. This is kind of what my thought was, Ship Shape. You just kind of run it back again. This worked in their previous game. Let's just go to Ship Shape. Let's just kind of bully them back into spawn, bring in all three of our very vertical players, and just kind of let the cart ride itself in. I don't think they'll have as much success this time around, because it's very clear that they were losing fights. The real key for TAMU is they need to make sure that Shrimple does not get their backliners set up in any capacity. Once they manage themselves on those vertical points and are able to just kind of turn it around and feed in from the comms, it's going to get so much more difficult for them. So TAMU Black really need to just up the tempo of the game here going into this. I know it's a slow mode, but the less they let Shrimple play, the easier it is for them to win.
Yeah, because I think what happened in that first game is that they gave specifically Vina on the well string a lot of time to work with, and those hammers, very crucial. like it definitely kept up that momentum or flipped it in favor of Shrimple as that. So I think, like you said, just making sure you play that aggressive playstyle, you make sure that you keep their backliners uncomfortable. I don't know if they keep double backliners, but it worked for them for game one. You had the ZF charger strikes. Good. Wellstring can just paint up the core area really well. Hammer can kind of threaten anyone on either side of the bridge. The grates is very good because Wellstring or Charger can look down there, so that's very good. I don't think the arrow spray stays personally, or you could go with the Booyah one, the gold arrow spray for Booyah. Honestly, I think that's the only change I could realistically see happening here.
I mean, let's talk about that arrow spray in general, because that was kind of the one thing that stuck on my mind is, like, arrow spray normally does not get a lot of play in a lot of worlds, but getting value out of that screen, to me, like they did, was just kind of impressive. Like, that's not something that, number one, a lot of teams will just let happen, but number two, it's not something that a lot of teams really understand how to play around. So I would be inclined to agree with you. Like, you're probably not getting the screen here again, but it did work while it was out there. So we'll have to kind of see if they feel that same way, because I could see maybe sticking with it. I see a very bedazzled Splatling there, so that's an interesting change of paces from Shrimple. That they're going to bring in basically several on the new lineup, to a Kraken and a Jetpack out of eggs. Interesting. The Jetpack does cover that verticality, but interesting, because TAMU Black, they are playing that triple vertical comp, and I do think that it's still just, it kind of wins here as long as they can deny these backliners the chance to set up.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing here, and I think that's why they brought in Dr. Ness to just kind of do what you see
just
right
carry,
here.
you mean?
Yeah, just
carry the game.
Yeah, just get in the good spot and just let everything happen as is. And so far, it's working out. You see TAMU Black, the tower, no one's around it, able to get that checkpoint really quick. But now you gotta get that top right side. You get that, you basically have the second checkpoint for free. You see Perry here does have to strike at the ready, not choosing to pop him on tower to keep it a little bit safe. Unfortunately, two members are going to flank. They're going to go down, but Polari just rolling by. You see Skelly in the back lines. They're going to go down, and again, with no one out there, that's going to be a 3-second checkpoint. Mikhail in front of the tower, and that will possibly do it. Yes, it will. Deja vu from from semifinals, as TAMU Black just kind of ran through Shrimple as that, like they weren't even there in the first place.
I mean, the slight difference we see out of this game is that there's a little bit more respect to, we're not going to keep you all the way in your spawn, but we are going to deny you the ability to play. And that's kind of exactly what that was exactly what I wanted at a TAMU. Like, let's just go ahead. Let's bring in our 3 verticals. Let's just let Ness carry. We're going to point and say, Ness, go kill, and Ness is going to go kill. Like, we kind of just did that, and that worked out everything perfectly. I mean, it worked in semis. It works here. This kind of feels like the plan. I actually respect the initial change of sub in game 1, but I do think that this is just another case where, like, just keep Dr. Ness in, let them do the thing, let them run the verticals, let them run the brush here, as we'll probably end up on claims at some point, and just keep that, because the synergy from those 4 players was very strong in the previous game. It's been very strong, clearly, as we just saw in the last 30 seconds there. Yeah, I mean, just great adaptations and a great choice out of them, but it goes back, the ball's back to Shrimple now, so I mean, they could just entirely 180 this. They'll probably take us to a much longer map that's much, I don't want to say much slower. I don't think they're going to take us back to tower control again, but they'll probably bring us to a longer map where their backliners can actually play the game.
I mean, yeah, like honestly, that map, Dr. Ness just kind of went in, like you said, got a lot of damage, and then Shrimple as that just could not recover. They were just stuck, basically. Like, I believe it was Ness, and I believe their bucket player, if I recall correctly, were just causing so much damage and making sure, heck, even in the when they flanked, like when the 2 members of Shrimple as that flanked, they got trades. They didn't get kills, they got trades. So Polarity on the tower just kind of stuck on tower, getting a 3-second checkpoint, because I think Shrimple as that kind of put a lot of his resources into making sure that the flank works, that no one was guarding the front. Like we saw, even before the tower got to the second checkpoint, the court was all blue. It was all TAMU Black's color. So I think I think going to a longer map where your backliners can kind of do their damage is going to be a lot better, because we saw at the very beginning, they held for a second. It was like 10 seconds, but it was better than nothing.
It was kind of what you expected. You could see that they were trying to get set up. They almost had control, but they lost the duel on the very short flanks from those high grounds, and because they lost those flanks, because the paint was so quick from the side of TAMU, they built up cooler a little bit faster, were able to get their specials online a little bit earlier. They dropped. You saw Ness, we kind of saw it, unfortunately. Ness pulled the hammer, tried to get it out and get some damage, but immediately threw it into cooler. But it was just a case of, like, it didn't need it anyways. But yeah, again, they just kind of snowballed it. They hit exactly what they wanted to do. They have their set play for that map, and it worked perfectly. They understood everything they wanted. But ball is out of their court, so we know that it's not going back to likely to zones, I believe, for Shrimple as that, because they won. We know it's probably not going back to tower, just because we just played that and they got pretty handedly there. So my guess is maybe clams, like a long mode of clams would probably do a decent bit of damage in regards to slowing down and giving Shrimple time to set up or utilize their very odd weapons. Maybe you run it back and bring that screen back. It did get value. Like, here's an insane thought. Something like Undertow, where screen can cover a lot of space and deny a lot of those approaches. Maybe that's on the menu. I don't know. That's just my tinfoil hat.
I mean, yeah, I could see Undertow. Wait, in clams, right? You were saying?
Yeah, I was thinking clams, but like I said, that's chaotic.
I mean, it makes sense. You can kind of cover both the grates and the basket with with the screen, but it looks like we are going to clam bits, but we're going to Robo Ramen, which honestly I haven't seen that often. So I'm excited to see what they pull out here.
Not the typical mode I think of when I think of Robo Ramen, but considering that's typically the preferred splat zones, I don't hate it. The good news for TAMU Black is that you're probably not seeing screen again. The even better news is this is still a very vertical map for you. You have a lot of these high verticals that you can't necessarily approach, but it's going to be very difficult for Shrimple to get set up on. This is actually like a very short to mid-range map, so Shrimple probably just going to go ahead and bring back the Wellspring, bring back the Arrow Spray, maybe in a slight different bit of variation, because you can get value out of those, and you can still control a lot of space with something like the Wellstring from so far away.
Yeah, and I think for Shrimple is that I think the biggest threat is going to be if Dr. Ness stays. Dr. Ness on that on the brush. We saw what happened last set. They caused a distraction. The rest of the team followed up. They got Bubbles in. I believe they played the vanilla kit. Yeah, they played the vanilla kit. Whales were a big problem for the other team. So now if you're Shrimple as that, you gotta know, hey, we gotta watch out. We cannot get overwhelmed, because when we get overwhelmed, our backliners can't do their job, and then they're gonna score like 50, 60, 70 points like it's nothing.
Yeah, because we've seen TAMU Black be very, very kind of just very clinical about their approaches. But speaking of clinical, it'll be the Ness brush coming in here. I do think a lot of these changes, Skelly going over to the Carbon with the Zuka is also a bit of an interesting change. I do like that. It's a little bit more poke from the distance that maybe will be good on your approach for this. So I do think these changes kind of buy a little bit and also feel very Shrimple as that kind of coded in a way.
Yeah, and I think the biggest change is Vienna going to the Milk Reflux there for, I believe, Booyah Bomb Torpedo. That's going to be very, very helpful. Just kind of pointing out where people are is that Booyah Bomb to take space. But right now, TAMU Black is causing a lot of mayhem with the strikes and the whale, but not a whole lot going to come out of it, because 2 are going to go down. 3, Vienna looking for that 4th, going forced it back away to keep it alive. And now, simple as that. They took mid, they got cooler, they have Booyah, so they have a lot of tools to get pushes going, but the only thing they don't have is a power clan, but they have the plans to make it, like, right now.
Yeah, I'd say, and I do think the approach there to kind of deny the clam was the right play. Using the Booyah Bomb, even if you're not going to get a full push, was right to kind of take away and deny that clam. It was a good use of your economy. They do get it in eventually from that high ground, but there's not going to be any follow-up. And for Shrimple, that's probably fine. You bought time to kind of recover. There's no clam up, even though the economy favors TAMU Black. So you have a chance to kind of really get your feet back together, and kind of get ready for this pushback, because you need to build your specials fast. TAMU has cooler up and they are ready to move.
Yeah, cooler, bubble, strikes. They have everything that they need. Dr. Ness being a bit of a nuisance here. They're the strikes coming in to get Dr. Ness in, along with Mikhail on that bubble. 81 clan. They have a couple behind them. They're going to get the score with a couple extras. That will be lead, I believe. Mikhail going for a couple of more picks to make it even more secure. Able to get it. Vina in the corner is still going to be there. Going to stay alive. And TAMU Black, despite losing the lead, or Triple is that, despite losing the lead, that could have been a whole lot worse if Perry was able to get that ball, that power clam in. So, but now you have time, you have space, because with 3 minutes left to go in this game, it's still not that far apart.
Yeah, no, that's a power clam, maybe 2 away. It's at least a minimum for TAMU Black to make any progress. So we're back to kind of neutral here. Triple strikes out. I mean, that Shrimples, that should have a bit of an advantage when the fight actually starts. They just need an opening pick. They do find Ness on the brush, and that should be a good go point. But they are down a cooler now, which means that this push is basically dead. They can't go on without it.
Yeah, they really can't. They do have they have Booyah and strikes at the ready, but like you said, the question is, can they find that opening pick? Because once they do, that's going to be very, very helpful. But of course, if you're TAMU Black, you're looking for a pick like that on with a bomb, and now you can get Ness in, you can get Mikhail in, you can make sure that they keep Shrimple as that at bay, and so far it's working out perfectly, as that's another going down, and that's ball probably to be popped or destroyed anyway. And you see how quickly TAMU Black's moving up. That's 2 members down, looking for even further. Bubble will be destroyed by those strikes for the most part, but TAMU Black, from the flip of a switch, just putting up a lot of pressure, and Polarity is going to score with 2 members of Shrimple as that going down as well. And TAMU Black, like we saw in that last game, they put up so much pressure so quickly.
Yeah, they really just clinically approached that. They waited until they had their specials up, put them all down, layered them appropriately, make sure they can get it. You would have loved the bubble to be a little bit closer, but you got the value you needed with it, the way the team was approaching it. Minute 30 with Shrimple having at least 1 clam up and only 10 points in the negative there means that they need at least 2 to make any real progress. 2 opening picks means they should be going now, though, because that is the chance. You don't have a better chance than being 2 up right now.
Yeah, there's a start. Booyah Bomb. It's Booyah Bomb plus strikes, but unfortunately it's a bit too slow, because TAMU Black able to respawn just in time to stop that. And yeah, like you said, they did have a really great opening, but I feel like they were a second too slow. They were stuck in the mud a little bit, and now TAMU Black are back in a really good spot here. They have a minute to go left in this game. They have to hold on. They have cooler, so they have all the tools that they need to really just kind of stall. Basically, they don't need to push per se, but they do need to at least keep up that pressure, which they've been doing this entire game.
Yeah, and they're also holding most of the clams here. You can see them, they're all back here with Polarity, so they're denying a lot of the clam economy too, making this even harder. There is that pity clam still sitting in the back for Shrimple, but eventually they're going to have to pick it up, and with Ness getting picks and that clam now being up, I think this basically means it's going to get dropped. They managed to jump out and save it, and that is huge, because we're going to hit overtime, so Shrimple needs this. They need this clam to stay alive, or it's just over.
I mean, yeah, they have 14 clams. You do see the Charger does have the clam, but they have to go now. That's a good start, but can they capitalize on that? Because they've been getting these 2 members down, but they haven't been able to capitalize on that. You see Mikhail getting a trade there. You see another one going down as well. They have, the path is open. Another one that's 3 members down. They have to go. Polarity's going to be there getting 1. Treasure going in. They able to get the score, but they have fault. They do, and that is going to be the game. Hold on, no. 1 clam. Vina not gonna get it. TAMU Black at the 11th hour. Triple as that 1 clam short. 2 points away. Just a second too slow, and they will lose the game. And honestly, Shrimple is that they had so many opportunities beforehand to get in, to get the that winning push, but they took a second too long, and TAMU Black just took full advantage of it, took full advantage of that desperation, and it worked out really well for them.
Well, and it helps that, like you said, TAMU Black really didn't have to push. They were able to kind of play a little bit safer. They weren't necessarily worried. Even they went 2 down, you could see the call was just, okay, come back, we'll get the stop. We've done the quick math in our head. This claim alone isn't going to be enough. We need to then stop them and just get the team wipe after it. We can even give them the score. So great recognition from them to just kind of acknowledge their win condition here. Shrimple's that just, again, a great look, great setup for that, recognizing they had the trades in their favor. They had the 2 down, the specials were on their side. Just unfortunately, it's just one of those small moments where the micro decisions just don't work out in your favor, where maybe you traded a special a little too soon or a little too later. You know, you made a trade when you should have got, when you would have hoped for a pick. Just those small things that you really can't account for means that we are 1-2, sitting on match point with Shrimple's pick once again.
Yeah, but honestly, if you're Shrimple as that, you've shown that TAMU Black is vulnerable, right? You had that game. You were 1 clam short, a couple of decisions here and there, a second too slow, kind of hindered them. But honestly, I think they can run it back on Clamblitz. Like, they had it. I think, like we were saying, though, those micro decisions really did impact them a lot. And it made it so when the time came, that desperation kind of sprang through first and foremost. So I think, honestly, if you're TMU Black, or no, if you're Shrimple as that, sorry, sticking with Clamblitz might be the play, because you've played them really damn close here. Better than D-Down Tower.
Yeah, I mean, Tower, I could maybe see the case for running Tower back on something more on your literal turf, I guess, where you have a longer map, you have something that you can control, get a little more just value out of from your backliners. But I'm inclined to actually agree with you here, Topic. Like, I'm not a big fan of just run it back, but I do think that this is the case where change the map, maybe slightly take away the verticality, find something a little flatter, and you probably do steal this from them, because the set plays coming in from Shrimples that were right. You saw it at the end. The play to get in there and score that last basket, everything went right. It was just the problem of maybe a team member lagging behind, not quite going in with the right amount of clams. Small things that can easily be fixed on a go again. So, I mean, I could see that. The other option is I could see maybe Rainmaker, but Rainmaker does kind of work towards TAMU Black's hand. So okay, you're playing a Wellstring, so actually, in retrospect, like, I don't hate that pick. It will be Rainmaker on a Humpback, which, considering you have a lot of painting power, I would argue you probably have more painting power than TAMU Black. This does kind of work. You just have to make sure your specials kind of match what the need is, and the need is to make sure that you can get a pick and a clear path for you. So Shrimple is that, laying it all on the line for Rainmaker in this match point.
Yeah. See, when I saw the map mode, my first thought was Mikhail and Dr. Ness and Perry playing Bucket as well are going to have a field day if they're able to just sneak around. So if you're Shrimple as that, you got to keep eyes on all of them. You need to make sure that you keep the paint up. You need to make sure that you don't go off on your own too often, because you know that TNU Black will take full advantage of that. Like you said, they're keeping with that Wellstring for TNU Black, sticking with what they had. Dr. Ness going back over to that Luna Blaster, and now, actually no, there is one change going over to the Neo Splash instead of I believe that was the not Wellstring, the Carbon. No, sorry, the other one. I forgot what it was.
It's okay. Yeah, and Eggs actually picking up the end zap is an interesting change of place. Eggs was your Slayer, was playing very, very effectively as your Slayer kind of in the first couple rounds, but feels like maybe you need a little bit more consistency in just getting your coolers up. So I do think that that's an interesting change of pace. Maybe we're just kind of looking to set this up. The good thing for Shrimple is there's not many places to take advantage of this verticality, but you do need to cover them all.
I mean, yeah, that they basically ran it because all of Shrimple's that was on that right hand side, so the left was completely open. But now you see, Shrimple's that 3 specials. They have Hammer, they had Cooler, and they have Zuka at 3, so they can really use this to their advantage here. But TMU Black just kind of putting that pressure on Dr. Net's gonna go down, and another one coming out with that bubble. Lucas coming out looking for that Hammer as well. There it is, gonna break that bubble, going for the Rainmaker, not quite able to get it. Polarity staying alive, eggs just dancing around it, able to get the pig. They're the last ones left, and a very, very back and forth kind of midsection here has led to TMU Black being the winners, and now maybe possibly going to be able to break this checkpoint, which Shrimple is defending really well here.
I would say I do give them credit for that, but we're at the point where now the blasters can get value around corners at this, so I fully do kind of expect if this stays here, if it doesn't get pulled out by Shrimple as that TAMU Black will probably have a little bit of an advantage, but with the paint favoring Shrimple as that, I do think that this is kind of something that's helped them stabilize. They're painting a little bit better and denying TAMU Black the chance to kind of take advantage. It'll be a reset. And 2 down for Shrimple is that, so TAMU Black once again firmly into control of the fish.
Yeah, but most of mid isn't be painting TMU Black's color. Yes, Shrimple they get the pop, but they've been going down so much that TMU Black just has so much paint to work with, so much space to work with, that it's really hard for Shrimple's dad to get something going. You see Skelly, though, going on a bit of an interesting flank here, popping Naizuka, not quite getting any picks out of it, but Dr. Ness throwing the hammer, able to arc it perfectly to get that Rainmaker and keep the lead at the same time, but Shrimple's dad will take the lead by 1 point, but not get the checkpoint. Both these teams are basically grazing that checkpoint as once again Polarity just shutting that down, denying the slam dunk. Vina finally able to just use the hammer, clear out some space, get it through, throwing it up, looking for a pick, not quite able to get it, but all of Team Black is around this corner. The pop,
2 died to the pop.
2 died to the pop. Vina forced it back, and TMU Black are starting to restabilize because now they're only 2 points down. This is a very close game, and look how fast they're moving around this corner here.
Yeah, it helps that they've really had kind of the paint still set up. You can kind of see as they paint the rest of the way. It should just be a clear path for Polarity, gets stopped just before, but this is where we need to see that kind of initial pressure that, man, Hammer's still good. It's where TAMU Black really needs to push that kind of space that we've seen them do in the previous match. They're not pushing and taking ahead here. So now with Shrimple as that back in control of the Rainmaker, again, it might be 1 point, but at 1:30, you can kind of just play this to the neutral. You have the number. You just need to continue to deny the first checkpoint. And Shrimple is that with control of mid here and a cooler. They're actually in a great position to do that.
Yeah, they're in a good position to push too. 3 members down, you have that corner, you know what the color is, you can just run it, and now getting even bigger lead, putting a lot of pressure on Polarity there, making sure they can't really affect Rainmaker. Strikes coming out as well to kind of clear a path out. Skelly just staying alive, parry on the flank, gonna get it, but not without going down themselves. And Shrimple is that. They can just camp in this corner, honestly. Like, there's not a whole lot TMU Black can do, because remember, they still have to break the checkpoint. That's huge, especially in the last minute. That means they can't just run it and get lead. So if your Shrimple is that, I think your game plan at the very least, your game plan at the very least is to try to make sure that they cannot get the checkpoint, but with the wipeout, that's not looking good.
No, the wipeout really is, I mean, the wipeout and the reset does not help you. That's what I was expecting. Mikael with that bubble so far up is exactly what you need, but you didn't get the picks with it. Polarity's going to go, has to dodge the bomb. There's the slam. 24 seconds means that there's still a chance, but there's no one left to pop the bubble. It's 2v1, 3, make that 3v1 on the bubble. So TAMU, with a touch, will get the lead. Will be pushing for the lead. They have to go with this. There's no specials up, and then that poke. The bomb hits at the last second. 10 left means that this is probably stuck in purgatory for now.
I mean, yeah, but TMU Black does have the management jab right at the moment. They pop the Rainmaker, they grab it, 2 members down, they're gonna run it, they're gonna get it.
Got it.
And Shrimple as that at the 11th hour just bent, and finally broke. They held out for so long, but TMU Black, they got the wipeout, and that wipeout at about a minute left kind of swung the momentum entirely in their favor. They got the checkpoint, they got the picks, because it felt like at the very end there, Shrimple as that was just dropping to get the Rainmaker. It felt like they didn't really have a plan, if that makes sense. They were just dropping to kind of stop it or slow it down, and that kind of was the ultimate demise, because they always went 1 member down, 2 down, 3 down, and that slowly builds up to TMU Black being able to just run it and get the lead by 1 point.
Yeah, if you're trickling your members in and not really kind of winning any of your fights, if you're just trickling in to lose the 3v1, the 3v2, you know, things like that, that'll tend to snowball. That's exactly like you said what happened. TAMU just basically won those kind of trickle ins. They got control. When it reset to mid, they were in control to pop it. They then took the space that I was just screaming mentally so dearly to take. They took the space, managed to get the pop, and then continued to win it there. Shrimple as that tried desperately to keep the Rainmaker in the control, and even on that last push, if you had to kind of blink and you miss it on Shrimple's big push there towards that end, they actually dove off of the path forward and just kind of tried to maintain control of the Rainmaker instead of going for progress. Whether that's the right decision is always going to be a question mark we'll never have an answer to, because would 3 more inches of progress have made a difference? Maybe, but also holding on to the Rainmaker would have also just kept them the game as well. So again, small decisions just dictated this, and it's things that you can't ever know. I said it before, I'm pretty sure this could be, I mean, I said it with the last game too, but this is probably going to be one of those games that we see in the grand finals. There's probably a run back where we see this in the grand finals.
Yeah, I would not be surprised. Shrimple as that will fall to the losers bracket, but they still have an opportunity here to, you know, fight for themselves to make sure that they can get back up to this side. But of course, that'll be it from us, at least for now. But before we go, Soav, where can people find you?
Well, you'll find me in probably a lot of other places that aren't Splatoon. Mostly, I spend most of my time in Overwatch land, so if you enjoy other esports, check me out for Overwatch, check me out for TFT, you'll see me around, but usually I'm here with you guys, and occasionally on Twitch playing various games, so just keep an eye out if you enjoyed what you hear. But what about you, Topic? Where can the lovely people find you in the wide internet world?
Yeah, you can find me mostly commentating for Splatoon lands, mainly the Under Pressure server for IPL. Those kind of places. Find me over on Blue Sky at Topical2. That's where I'm most active. You can find me over mainly in the New York land area. That's where I spend most of my time. But that's it from us. But don't go in there, because for these final couple of rounds for you, we have a great set of commentators coming up. We have Spicy and Hammy. So don't go anywhere, because we have our CCA Div 4 losers and grand finals coming up to you in a couple of minutes.
outside lane, missing exits, glued to the pavement. Between the lines, I'll keep my gaze straight ahead as the last stop flies by. No more waiting for the gun to fire, no more walking through revolving doors. I've gone around once, I don't need to go around anymore. Break away, forget your sober case. Stop dwelling on empty words, stop stalling in the doorway, and cancel the cruise control. Switch it in the manual, don't you wanna feel right? Full steam through the setback.
Welcome back, everybody, to the CCA Season 2 Circuit Finals here with Division 4. My name is Hammy, on the mic with Spicy. Actually, you're this direction. Mirrored. Both of us have not been on the mic for a while. As you can tell, I don't know my lefts and rights anymore. And we are actually in the middle of our next set right now. Rising Moon versus Ma and Order. Ma and Order is actually up 1-0 now. They just finished their first match. We had to kind of let them play early because they have some prior commitments, and being college students in exam season, we're not going to hold them up for production. So before we get into it, Spicy, how you doing today?
Doing good, Hammy. I'm in the exact same boat as all of these players right now, where I have graduate class finals coming up this week, so I'm studying for that while studying these teams, and it's just an absolute mess. What isn't a mess is the gameplay so far. Ma and Order up 1-0 so far on Rising Moon. This is a rematch from Winners Round 1, where Rising Moon took it all the way in Game 5, but as someone who's paying attention to that bracket, it was Rising Moon was up 2-0 after Game 2, and then Ma and Order brought it all the way back to a deciding Game 5, fell short. But here they are. It's only a best-of-3 set in losers semis. So here we are, going in looks like to Tower Shipshape as the counter pick.
Yeah, this is a very interesting dynamic here. As you said, they played together against each other in round 1 and bringing it to a Game 5, and now playing again in a shorter match. So they've already had their warm-up earlier today, and this is now do or die for Rising Moon. Your number 1 seed for Division 4 here in the finals are on the ropes. If they lose this game of Tower Control Shipshape, they are going home. That is the end of the season for them. Ma and Order looking to make a huge upset as we're getting into this match.
Yeah, I've seen Ma and Order before. This is a team who is like really looking for those upsets, as you've mentioned. A team that's really primed, like being the underdog, it seems like. And here they are with the advantage early on here in this Game 2, which is so far pretty impressive to say the least. Having a slight advantage, they do lose that early team fight though, and it's going back and forth. A lot of chaos happening here in this mid.
Yes, but Rising Moon know that they have to win this game, already taking the much more aggressive opening, getting first. Not the first touch on the tower, but the first couple of points, but they do eventually get wiped out, maybe overstaying their welcome a little bit and not respecting the fact that Ma and Order were going to come back in first. Slump Skull, though, on the side of Rising Moon is sharking here for a while on that sploosh, looking to get a nice little pick here, but isn't able to get it. Just not enough range on that weapon. Has the hammer ready, looking to maybe throw it here soon as the first checkpoint goes down. Ma and Order taking a nice lead here with some numbers.
Ma and Order, they know that they're in upset territory, and especially in the shorter set, this is really prime position for them to be in here, especially with Shipshape on tower, very snowball heavy map. It's a very good chance that they're able to just take this all the way. They had a slight lead, they got first touch, they brought it all the way to 36. Here we're barely 100 seconds into this game, it's 80 seconds still, and now they're just going to keep on going, see if they're going to be able to get this to this next check before Rising Moon, trying to make a stop, but here we are, Ma and Order at checkpoint 2.
Ma and Order have done a great job just stalling this out. This tower has not left the side of Rising Moon since they got it forward. Actually getting to that checkpoint, they're not getting any progress on it, but now just they're fighting here. They know that they have the space and the time, and there's a wipeout. They did that wonderfully. They have specials ready. They have all players pushed up forward. Soda's in hand. Rising Moon, they need something right now. They got to dig deep, Spicy.
Yeah, it's not a lot of time left here either. They go 2 down. Mon Order finds 3. Can they find 4? They do so. They find the wipe. That'll send them here into losers finals with a date with Shrimple as that.
That was so quick for fighting against the #1 seed and for fighting against a team that you fought earlier today and lost to. Ma and Order looked so incredibly comfortable and confident in that game. We saw a little bit of hesitation there in the opening. You know, Rising Moon got the upper hand in that first fight, but that was it. It was maybe, 30 seconds of Rising Moon's time to shine, and then Ma and Order said, no, you're gone.
Yeah, both teams were under the pressure of knowing season on the line. We got deadlines also coming up, so Mon Order saw that. They're like, we want to still keep on going, but we are in a rush. So able to do that beautifully there. As you mentioned, it was like a kind of a neutral state for like the first 30, 45 seconds, and then from there, Mon Order just on firing on all cylinders. It was so hard to stop them. You can attribute that to the map mode combination, which was the counter pick from Rising Moon. But at the end of the day, Mon Order, they get the run back and they're able to avenge their loss earlier in winners. Now here they are in losers finals.
Yeah, no, that being said, that does, I believe, put Rising Moon at 4th place overall in the division. So nothing to scoff at still. They not only did they make it to the finals, they also got 4th place out of that, so they have the entire division 4th place, so great job to Rising Moon for getting this far. Ma and Order now on the run of their lifetime. They've been going through losers bracket since round 1, so they are all the way here in losers bracket finals. They have, just every game has been life on the line, best of 3s. They are now finally in best of 5 territory once again here, as they're going to be fighting their next opponents, Shrimple as that.
Yeah, Shrimple is that. Just had a really close loss, a 1-3 against TAMU Black. These were 2 teams that were like pretty much the favorites after day 1 Swiss. Both Shrimple as that as well as TAMU Black, Texas A&M Black, did come away from Swiss undefeated. They met each other in winners finals at a really close set. Shrimple as that is the group that ends up here in the losers side though. So once again, you're going to be seeing Mon Order facing a team which is like one of the best ones, it looks like, here. So it's a matter of seeing, can they keep this like Cinderella run going? Can they do it again against one of the favorites in the rest of finals?
Yeah, just as you said, the other 2 remaining teams in this tournament, Shrimple is at seed 4 and TAMU Black seed 2. So Ma and Order, in terms of seeding, they're out of their element. They've made a much farther run than they were supposed to on paper, and every match, not even the sets, just every single match is them proving themselves to show that they're here to win. They're here to take down some of these titans of Division 4. Now, I do believe Shrimple Azat has been on stream a couple of times today. I didn't get the pleasure of catching most of the matches live because I was busy. I was watching the bracket and kind of seeing the numbers go. So I'm excited to see what Shrimple Azat's going to show us, in just show us why they're also here in the top 3 of the division.
Yeah, as you've been mentioning, Shrimple is that definitely one of the hotter teams right now, I want to say here. They've had a lot of great stuff. Interesting composition-wise, where they've been mixing around a lot of the orthodox things, but also some things like double backlines throughout the entirety of their season, it feels like, have had some success. We'll be interested in seeing that. I believe we actually do have a live look into Division 1 as well. Able to see PSU Blue, one of the most historic teams here in CCA, going up against USF Gold as well in losers finals.
Yeah, I was kind of curious to see the other divisions. That's one of the hard parts of the CCA, is there's 5 different streams happening simultaneously. It is so hard to keep up with all of the action. Even if I wasn't commentating, I don't have enough monitors for that. So yes, here is the Division 1, the best of the best from the collegiate scene. And I believe you say this is losers finals or finals?
Losers finals, yes.
Losers finals, yeah. So they're getting towards the end there. PSU Blue in the lead. USF Gold is, again, they're kind of on the ropes here. They're looking to make to the top 2. They're looking to not get that 3rd place finish and trying to take a lead here. But yeah, like I said, a lot of CCA action right now. If you're watching live, 5 different streams, a lot of them being hosted on different SplatoonTourney channels, and of course 2 of them also on the CCA channels. So if you have more than one monitor and you're really good at multitasking, make sure to check those out for sure.
Definitely, I think actually in one of the CCA announcements, they posted like the multi-Twitch for like 4 of the streams at once. So you could watch it all in one tab if you're feeling inclined to do so. I used to have it all up on like different devices just to like, hey, it increases the viewer count and all that. And it's like, hey, one of the best things here, there's a lot of Splatoon happening this entire weekend. CCA is really just happy to be part of what is just an amazing weekend.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm also just happy that CCA invited to be out to commentate some of this. It's always great work. The production quality is great. The teams are great. I've met so many people from the CCA in person and online. They're all lovely folks, and it's great to have a collegiate scene like this. You know, when I was in university, we didn't really. I mean, not only could I not find anyone to play Splatoon with, but you know, the CCA wasn't as in the state it was now. But we are getting into the match, I believe, question mark, as like the timer is running down. So I guess Spicy, I don't know if you have any more info on these teams as me. Do you have any kind of inside information on Shrimple, Azad, or Mon Order? You know, do you know any of these players, you know, weapons they might bring out?
Yeah, so I can't lie to you. Mon Order is one of those teams where I have a heavy bias for because they're one of my local schools. So it's really hard for me to push that aside. I've been following the entire like Kutztown programs. There's 4 of them here now. Just seeing like, oh, been following their players at like the lands, also like Riptide when they're in the collegiate events. I'm just always around watching them in particular. I feel like Mon Order this would definitely be a set where it's like the run might stop. I think Shrimple just has a lot of great stuff going for them. One of the best things I see from Houston's program is just the team play overall. There's a lot of cohesion with the weapons, with the players, and it's going to be really hard for Mon Order to, I think, to break that open. If we're going into Barnacle and Dime on zones as the game 1, it's tried and true here. We're always going to be starting on zones for each and every set, and then it's counter picks the rest of the way. I'm curious to see what we have going into this. Shrimple is that earlier did bring double backline to start game 1 for a few of their sets. Matter of seeing, are they going to do it again? Is Mon Order going to bring something else out their sleeves? And what are we going to have going into this next set?
Yeah, and all these answers are going to be... all those questions will be answered right now as we get into the first game of this set. Shrimple as that in the orange, Ma in Order in the blue, running in here in Barnacle and Dime splat zones. Shrimple as that have a couple players coming in on the side, whereas Ma and Order all sticking together, trying to opt for throwing the special and maybe allowing them to go forward, but will actually lose 2 players in that opening engagement, giving Shrimple as that a little bit of space to work with here.
Yeah, Shrimple is that. This is what you expect to see them do here. You're looking at this comp, and you see 2 of them actually go down in the process. 2 of the anchors here, 2 of the main core. It's going to lead to Mon Order potentially getting zoned, but you see the specials coming on through. The crabs, you see everything else coming out, and now this Booyah Bomb now coming through. Mon Order able to flip the zone. They're going to be able to take the lead. They get stopped at 1 point to go, but they finally get a chance to take lead here and see if they're going to be able to do anything else, maybe get some more.
Yeah, looking for a little bit more. The hammer coming through will manage to take down Splatchild. Just Corn is also getting pushed into a corner. Will Booyah to try to save himself. The hammer throw will go under them, but they will get picked off right as the Booyah ends. Pancake coming to revenge their teammate, but will get taken down as well. Shrimple as that are in control, the middle of the map. They do win out that series of trades, and now with the lead in their favor, they're going to look to try to lock out Mon Order here, maybe get some specials online before the specials of Mon Order come in themselves.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, that Shrimple is that we're able to get a few critical picks, really stopping any potential specials coming in. You see the Reef Slider as well as the Booyah Bomb finally come in from Mon Order. They were a bit delayed after the good team fighting from Shrimple as that, but after all of this happening, Mon Order able to once again recontrol the zone here, trying to work their way out of their penalty. You know that Shrimple as that does have 3 specials online. You see the coordination coming through once again, the hammers as well as the strikes, and able to get those chumps. So much pressure out there, able to flip the zone.
Zone will get flipped. The penalty will be applied. Mon Order, though, aren't really pushed out quite yet. They lost 1 player, but they evened out the numbers. The Slider will maybe get another one. They will. Flower Boy pushed up 3 players down for Shrimple as that. The Crab will come out. Flower Boy's going to attempt to contest it with the help of a teammate, but the Crab will get both. Shrimple as that, using that one special to stay in here. Pancake by themselves, though, not feeling like backing up, is going to fight it out, try to get a couple of their own. And right now, these players are just trying to flex the fact that they can win unfavorable engagements, and they're just clip farming now on us. That's all they're doing.
Yeah, Pancake is flipping everything right now, not just Pancake's able to do so much, and really, the team fighting has been immaculate. You see a lot of great pressure and a lot of great mechanical skill here, and it's been working out. Mon Order, with the Booyah Bomb coming out, are they going to be able to take the lead? They do. They lose the zone right after, but they are able to get the lead. Very important for them here. Shrimple is that. Has an opportunity, though. They have the zone. They're working their way out of the penalty, and it's not a lot of points until they're able to once again potentially get the lead.
With all of those plays that Pancake made and being able to enable their team, only a 1-point lead was gained, but the zone will get flipped before Shrimple as that can get it back. Vinalu, though, with the hammer, cannot take down Pancake. Pancake is on fire this game, just getting a lot of picks that realistically shouldn't be getting got. And now, Ma and Order still in the lead. Penalty is gone. All 4 players up. A Booyah out just to slow down the respawns. And this may not look great here for Shrimple as that.
Yes, suddenly Modern Order has been able to turn the entire story of this game on its head. They're running away with the lead here. The Chumps aren't going to be able to do anything. The strikes are finally coming through, but Shrimple that is 2 down. They are able to get a good pick. You see the hammer finally coming in as well. Able to see, is it going to be enough? We're down to 6. Can they finish it off? Can they get the zone back? They are able to Reslider coming in once again, and Ma and Order is able to get game 1 here in Losers Finals.
Yeah, that's Ma and Order. As we said before, every game here is them proving themselves. And I think they just kind of did. Just, we saw just a lot of strength from them in a lot of different scenarios. It was similar to what we saw in the last match from the previous set. They struggled a bit on that opening. And then after the opening, the game was basically theirs for a large portion of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of great solo plays from Pancake, as we mentioned, and even other than that, the specials coming up from Flower Boy, Splatchild, and Korn were able to enable the team, and just there was a lot of cohesion there, I think, from almost unlike what you'd expect from Division 4 and CCA.
Definitely, yeah. And Mon Order is just playing with a ton of confidence right now. Like, we both pointed it out. They're getting a lot of picks and they're winning a lot of fights that we feel like shouldn't be won normally. But there's just something about how they're playing right now. They're just doing so well. They have yet to drop a game in losers bracket ever since being knocked down here. So that is now their 7th straight game that they have won ever since coming down here. And it's been really impressive to see them. Like, they're playing as the underdog, but it really doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, for sure. It's not typically what you see. You see one of the lower seeds. It's a 16-team bracket, so 12th seed. They're in that lower portion, and just using game 1 as a warm up against the number 1 seed, and then proceeding to sweep every other team is not what a lot of people would have on their bingo cards. But if you're a fan of Ma and Order, which I mean you've mentioned that you are for sure, like, this is one of the best outcomes. So Shrimple is looking to put an end to this. We are in best of 5 territory once again, and it's counter picks. So Shrimple is has control of the board. And speaking of, Mako Mart Tower Control is where they're going to be taking them next.
I do like seeing Tower Mako here for Shrimple is that I think there's a lot of different ways they're going to be able to stop Mon Order, especially at least slowing down the game a bit. It's a matter of just not letting a snowball happen here, because I feel like Mon Order, especially with the way they are kind of just built this team with a lot of aggression, a lot of great emphasis on fighting, if Mon Order gets to an advantage, it's gonna get out of hand. But as Shrimple is I feel like they're just trying to slow the game down a bit, kind of focus on the more linear paths here, just find any way to really stop the momentum. They should be able to do that here on Tower Mako.
Yeah, and what I do find interesting, now that we're talking about, finding ways to shut the other team down, Shrimple Azat's comp is a very interesting one. And we never didn't have a lot of time to touch on that before, because they don't really have any traditional fighters or aggressive weapons. All 4 weapons they have are anchor support weapons, like, in that realm. And it seems like they're trying to use them as like multifaceted. So like they're able to switch up if they need to be, you know. They have the Dread Ringer and they have the N-Zap, which can fight, they can get picks, and they can be supportive. But when you look at a team like Ma and Order, where they have, you know, someone like Pancake on the Tetra Dualies, who is more defined in what their role is, and now Korn bringing in the Tri-Slosher as well, you have a lot of good fighters. But Shrimple as that did just make me eat my words and switch up their comp entirely.
Yeah, big comp switch here from Shrimple as that, but also some selections here that you wouldn't really be expecting to see. And also those coming out here from them as well. They go to down in the process, and it's so interesting seeing the variety and the comps here. Double bucket from the side of Mon Order, and then you're also seeing Shrimple as that. Some more a slightly more traditional comp, but a lot of variation in what they end up playing here. And you see Mon Order once again establishing a great opening. Kraken trying to get on the tower here, but it's not going to matter. Korn putting out that cooler as Mon Order tries to keep marching this tower.
Now, this is the first opening that Mon Order has won that we've seen so far. So the question is are they finally going to struggle, or does this mean they're just going to win even faster? Because now there's 3 players down and Triple as that. Yet again, it's just Scully G, but they're only on the tower. They managed to live out the reslider, and they do jump out. Great job at just buying some time and stalling for the rest of the team to get back, because we're a minute in. First checkpoint's already cleared, and Ma and Order are on their second push.
Yeah, and second push, it feels like just a continuation of their first one as well. They find another pick onto the roller here. They find another one onto the nozzle nose. Mon Order is 2 down, though, at this time. Trying to see if they can push it towards that checkpoint, just get a little bit more of an advantage, but the tower does stall out. If Shrimple is that able to put the tower back into a neutral state, or at least try to. They are finding great picks here. They have 3 down. You do see one of them goes down to that bomb, but Eggs and the rest of Shrimple as that have the tower now. It's a matter of seeing what are they going to be able to do on this push.
Yeah, they need to take advantage of this opportunity, at least get that first checkpoint, hopefully get to a lead. The Inkjet does a great job of holding out players on the plat. Pancake comes in from the side, will get picked off in a trade. Eggs is going to look to try to get this tower through the checkpoint. Actually, the checkpoint already got broken, yeah, so they're just going to push this tower forward. A couple players of Mon Order trying to get in through this plat. No one in Triple is at alive to push forward or even just continue this push. Now, as it is just Vinaloo left on that heavy, has to back up, respect it, and just try to keep as much space as possible to give Mon Order a bit of a more difficult time here on the repush.
Yeah, you see Flower Boy here with this crab. They're able to find a nice pick here. You have to watch those strikes coming through, as well as the Kraken. The combination there, able to wipe out the crab. But missiles now coming in all the way here from Splat Chad. Now let's see, what is Mon Order going to be able to do here? Tower is once again in Shrimple as that control. Never mind, it's going back into neutral here. A lot of fighting now as we're past the midway point of this game. Mon Order 2 down. Pancake trying to find another pick before going down in the process. And you are seeing Mon Order in the 3 down situation. Shrimple is that with the tower once again. Let's see if they're going to be able to push this tower further.
Yeah, and now we've seen Shrimple is that doing a great job at shutting down Pancake this game. I think they kind of realized that they needed to focus that a bit more, because the last game did not work out very well in their favor. Skelly G playing on this stack, and stuck in a 1v2, but does get backed up by their teammates. We'll get 2 players down on Mon Order now. Shrimple is that, though, they lost the tower, went back to the middle, so they don't keep that progress there. But less than half the game remaining. They're looking for a good push, but just the consistent pressure and special outage from Ma and Order is just preventing them from really getting anything good going.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It feels like everywhere you look, there's at least one special flying at you from some direction, whether it's the missiles, whether it's a reef slider, whether it's something else. They have the cooler buffs, and Shrimple is that. Suddenly, they went 3 down not too long ago, which leads to Mon Order having the tower, pushing it further into Shrimple as that territory. They're able to get the stop briefly here, but you see this tower still going to march forward here. Now we're going into this final minute of the game. Shrimple is that has some time. They have some specials. They got the numbers advantage. Can they do enough to get the lead?
So far, this tower has acted like a pendulum. We got our 2 farthest pushes, and then it's just been going back and forth between each side's base. So Shrimple is that need to add a little bit more momentum onto their swing to get a lead here, because with 42 seconds left in the game, they only need 18 points past their best push to get to the lead here. And here comes this push. They have the strikes coming in. They have players on the tower, but the Kraken comes up for Vindaloo. Will have someone else need to back up onto the tower where those players will go down. But E-Park is on the tower trying to give a jump. The jump will come in, but everyone from On Order just encroaching into the tower. 2 points away from the lead. Vindaloo's fighting, but they will not get it. Ma and Order hold on to the lead. 15 seconds left, and essentially a delayed wipe onto Shrimple is that. 10 seconds left, Spicy. What do they got to do?
Yeah, look, they're just trying to preserve the crime scene here. Ma and Order now has one more defensive hold in them. Can they do it? Or is Shrimple is that going to be able to do something? But they throw all 3 down. Ma and Order, the underdogs keep going. They're up 2-0 here in Losers Finals.
You know that's gotta hurt. You saw Vindaloo jump on the tower at the last possible second. It just didn't register in time. Not able to get that overtime started. Ma and Order, yeah, as you said, up 2-0 now in a best of 5. So Shrimple is that. If they want to not come in third place this season, they're gonna have to get a reverse sweep on a team that hasn't lost a game in like 2 hours.
Yeah. It's already a long day of Splatoon after playing Swiss yesterday as well. So it's like, if you're Shrimple as that, it's right after coming off of a winners finals where a lot of the games they lost were just extremely close, like falling this short again, that's gotta hurt. It's gotta sting. You do have a chance to bring it all the way back, just keep it one game at a time, but it's getting rough here. Your time is starting to tick, and Shrimple as that, their season really on the line, backs against the wall.
Yeah, now that you mention it, the whole thing with the Swiss yesterday and all this stuff, I need somebody from Ma and Order to DM me. Where do you get this energy? You are on day 2 of a 2-day tournament, doing a loser's bracket run, you haven't dropped a single game, and you're in exam season, you're in college. Where is this energy coming from? What's your morning routine that you wake up and say, like, you're gonna conquer the day, and you're gonna, like, I would have checked out a month ago. I would have said when I was in college, I didn't have time to play Splatoon.
No, I feel the exact same way, and I just realized this now. Ma and Order's only loss in Swiss was the Shrimple as that. So here they are, another chance to just cross another name off of against a team they lost to, 1 game away from doing so. They still have deadlines, I presume, as well. They're keeping their season going, and they're trying to win this, I feel like, in the least amount of games possible, considering, despite being in loser's bracket.
Yeah, so Ma and Order, just this run is insane. Shrimple is that. You know, they need to find something. They need to sit down and just kind of mentally reset. Like, you lost you lost your game in the winners finals, or the winners finals going before grand, so you're stuck down here in losers finals, and now you're on the ropes, and picking Monta Maria Rainmaker could be their ticket out of here. This one's an interesting pick. I think based on the weapons that Shrimple has in their arsenal, I see the vision. I also just don't like this map mode to begin with. so if I was Ma and Order, I'd be groaning either way.
Honestly, I feel that completely here. Very volatile. This is certainly a decision from Shrimple as that, not a very simple one at all. And I'm looking at this, like, you saw Mon Order, they're going to a map with quite a bit of verticality. They've had multiple buckets being run in games before, and I'm really wondering from Shrimple as that, how is this going to be working here? So definitely a big game here, and maybe a bit risky, but maybe you, with your season on the line, maybe this is the time to really bring out the bold decisions.
Yeah, and on top of that, too, you mentioned the buckets, and Shrimple is that as well. Vindaloo has been on the Wellstring and on the Heavy, and there is that Wellstring for the high-popping power. A couple of familiar weapons, and yeah, a few familiar weapons, but not a familiar face, because there is a missing player on the side of Ma in Order, so we will reset that. Though we did get a quick glimpse at some of the weapons, and we did see the new arrow spray, which I do not remember the name of. It is probably something like Colors or Glitters or something colorful named, but that's the second arrow spray we've seen in this set. This time from a different team. This is like a different. This is a different Splatoon that you would not expect to see like a year ago. Seeing two different teams run an air spray in the same set.
I will say I've been following like this bracket like kind of on and off, and I have seen Aerospray come up quite a bit, and I think I've seen like every variant of Aerospray now, and it's just really crazy. Like as you mentioned, like a year ago, like let's be real, you go back multiple games and you're rarely seeing Aerospray across like anywhere in this franchise, and at least in a competitive setting, at least in a non-turf war setting as well. So it's really interesting to see a weapon like that really get its play time here, and especially in such high stakes as well.
Yeah, and that's exactly it with the high stakes. Like the other Aerospray we saw this set, game 1 splat zones, sure. Mm-hmm. Your tournament life is on the line. You are down 0-2, and you're on Rainmaker Montemaria, and you brought an Aerospray. That is, like, that right there, that specific circumstance, I would never thought I would utter those words ever. But I'm also here for it. I love seeing these like comfort picks and the picks that, like, you know, things that you've been working on, things that you believe will work, and just problem solving. Like I said, Shrimple is that they need to win a game or else they're out of the tournament. So they're looking for a solution. And here they are. This is their attempts for solutions. This is what they're trying out. And I respect them for, you know, trying to find something unique to bring in this upset.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, gonna bring it back to my old CCA days, my 2 seasons of CCA back in like my senior year of undergrad. And I remember like thinking of these solutions. I remember being with a teammate. We would go into my research lab where there was this really big whiteboard and we're just drawing up comps or drawing things on the maps, pretending to like have these game plans. Sometimes it works. And I want to know what was the mindset like, or like what was like the war room like here for Shrimple. Was that knowing like, okay, season on the line, we're going Rainmaker Montemaria, I want the Aerospray, and hey, if it works, this might go down as one of the best decisions we've ever seen, really, across anything. Like, I like to say that like low level across like any form of competitive Splatoon, it's kind of where you see a lot of innovation. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but when it works, it's one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah, and I respect like that process, because that's a little bit of Hammy lore. That's where my main weapon came from. We had a specific map mode that was we couldn't deal with it. It was Rainmaker Crab Leg. We just could not play at all. And so I came up with the wildest comp possible. I said, like, let's flip our whole comp 180 degrees and play, like, let's just do this to enable this, to prevent this. And in that comp, I played Reflux. And then it went so well, and I liked it so much that I became a Reflux one trick. And I'm like, this was a weapon that's not competitively viable and that I never thought I'd play. And now here we are, 2 years later, I'm one tricking the weapon.
We love to hear that. We love to see all of that. Speaking of C, let's look like we have a look-in into Division 2 as well. So we're able to see across like all of this like high levels of Splatoon, across all of this gameplay, we're able to see a close matchup here on Rainmaker Humpback. Once again, we got SHSU Orange, Crab and Go going into what would have been an overtime situation, but not going to happen there. So yeah, across all of this, we still have 5 divisions. We still have a lot of Splatoon across all of this.
Yeah, there's, as I mentioned before, a lot of Splatoon happening today. Not like too much that you could ever possibly keep an eye on. But we are about to be keeping an eye on our set here, as we have got our 4th player back in. They're having some Wi-Fi issues, but they're back in the game. So we're loading in. Should be pretty quick, because I don't believe weapon switches are allowed. So we just need to give her... Okay, production is in my ear and saying that weapon switches are allowed, actually. So I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know the rules, and that's why I don't TO, because I don't need to read the rules. I just get to talk and pretend I know the rules, and then I get to claim a lot of credit for being a part of the CCA, even though I'm not in college, I'm not American, and I haven't done anything but get contacted by people in DMs to commentate. And so that's why
there's Canadian teams here.
Yeah,
sometimes there's Canadian
teams, but I'm in like rural Canada. Like the closest, I think the closest CCA team is like a 20-hour drive away from me. Oh. So I'm like, this isn't my element. But what is my element is yapping about Splatoon, and our match is ready. We're loading in here for real this time. Rainmaker Montemaria, Shrimple is at life on the line.
Yeah, life on the line indeed. We've been saying it multiple times now. Yeah, Mon Order bring out basically a similar comp that they've been rocking the entire time. Maybe a couple swaps in terms of different specials. Meanwhile, yeah, Shrimple is that. All eyes are really on eggs with this arrow spread. They have a lot more painting on this comp now than they had prior. It's a matter of, can they do anything with it? Are they going to be able to really get a lot of pressure? Are they going to end up winning these fights? And Mon Order, once again, similar to Game 2, winning the early engagement, trying to see if they can get that early checkpoint.
And going for the checkpoint on the cut, specifically been taken by Skelly G, and the rest of the team will go down. Ma in Order, the last player alive is Splatchat, having to run away and back up, but is able to actually keep a couple players away. Was trying to save the jump from Pancake, but unable to do it. Flower Boy as well jumping in and going down. Ma in Order need to slow it down a little bit here. I think the momentum is riding a bit too high. They're taking a lot of risky jumps, and they're giving Shrimple Azat a little bit of space to work with here in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, I can't be going too close to the sun here, and Shrimple is that has the lead for the first time since I believe Game 1. So, matter of seeing what else are we really going to be able to do here in the Hammer once again, able to find at least one pick on the Flower Boy. Can we find another? Not going to be able to do so immediately, as you do see them getting shut down, and 2 down as well from Shrimple is that. Rainmaker now in control here from Ma in Order. Still close, 2 points here. Checkpoint though in favor for Shrimple is that.
Yeah, and they have control of the Rainmaker right now, but it's not a favorable position per se. They are starting to get some picks now. I think the Rainmaker player is now moving back to mid. 3 players down for Shrimple Azat, and Vinalu's out of position. They recognized it. They called it out. Korn is able to take this cut for free, and that will be a checkpoint for Ma in Order because they're able to communicate where the last player was, and they will go down as well as another one respawn. Shrimple Azat looking on the ropes here. Korn almost got knocked off the map. Will grab the Rainmaker, get the lead, but will die. And a little bit of a scramble, but Shrimple Azat managed to stay in it just for now. They will have to clear out, though, because they need to get that lead back, but there's still plenty of time.
Definitely a lot of time here. Yeah, we just passed the 3-minute mark left to go. So, Shrimple Azat does have some leeway to work with here, and they do have a pretty manageable deficit as well. So, that can definitely do a lot still here. It matters just establishing position, and then seeing what else are they going to be able to do. A lot of action happening here over on these cuts and seeing how that ends up being like a big factor here. And you see potential flank. We are going to be able to find 1. We find 2. Crafting has to be popped, and this is a great set of actions here for Shrimple is that, finding the 3 down onto Ma in Order.
Can we agree that that shouldn't have worked? Like that entire play was like, that was very ballsy from Epark to run in there into a 1v3, manage to get 2, help the team shred out the crab and beat it, and then get the Rainmaker all the way out onto the drop and get a lead. But that, honestly, that's what Shrimple Azat needs. They need those all-out plays. This is their tournament life on the line. So now Ma in Order, they have to look back for this lead. Shrimple Azat opting for a trade out there in the middle. Right now, they just need to stall. They can just use that as their winning push and spend the next just under 2 minutes keeping Ma in Order away from their base as much as possible.
Definitely, I do like Shrimple Azat's comp here for defensive purposes. Pancake, though, popping that Reef Slider, not going to be able to find anything. And the Hammer, once again, it gets shut down. Vinalu not going to be able to do anything there. Pancake able to stay alive. They have the Rainmaker and Ma in Order able to sneak past with the lead once again. We thought Shrimple Azat had a run that might have been enough, but Ma in Order once again able to find a little bit more. Touch pushing it across now over to the 24, and Shrimple Azat now once again on the back foot.
Yeah, I didn't give them enough credit. It took about 20 seconds after I said they just need to hold them back that they weren't able to hold them back. But that's not even as Shrimple as that thing. That's just Ma in Order just playing so confidently and so bold and just being able to get those picks and to get those positions. Now, less than a minute remaining. Shrimple has that. They need to get a push to 23 or lower if they want to stay in the CCA Season 2 circuit. So they need something right now. And right now, they're just getting picked off left and right. But the Hammer from Vinalu is going to be able to maybe get the Rainmaker. No! Korn is able to dodge it and get the Rainmaker shot. That might be it. There's not much left here.
Oh my gosh, Corn finding 2 with the Rainmaker, taking it all the way to the 14 with less than 30 seconds to go as well. Screen in play, and Flower Boy and Mon Order, they have this Rainmaker push up so far up. They at least win the team fight here, so it's gonna be really good for them. Shrimple stat has like very little room for error here. 10 seconds left to go in regulation. They're gonna have to reset the Rainmaker here, but look at this, Mon Order is just all around it. I don't see an avenue around, and Maw and Order, Cinderella that has the slipper still fit, and here they are in grand finals.
I needed about 30 seconds to recover from Corn's Rainmaker play there. That was... There's so much to unpack that was last few seconds. Maw and Order... Okay, if you are TAMU Black, the team that is waiting in grand finals for Maw and Order, and if you're watching this run and you're seeing their bracket run, no losses whatsoever, and you watch that game, I don't know how they're going to respond, because Maw and Order are on something different today.
They really are, and it's so crazy to think about it like that, because TAMU Black has been pretty much unstoppable, it feels like, this entire season. And I think they came in here as like the odds-on favorite despite only being the number 2 seed. But the way Maw and Order is playing, there is something to be said about this bracket run. Starting in losers pretty much effectively from the beginning. And they've beaten every team. They haven't dropped a game since losing game 5 earlier today. And they've beaten the 2 teams that have beaten them earlier in this tournament. Like, I don't know what kind of storyline is being written here. Maw and Order with this incredible run. TAMU Black here as like this big final boss. But this finals is shaping up to be something.
We may not know what storyline is being written, but we do know that Maw and Order are currently holding the pen. As they are just, they're forging their own little story here in Division 4 finals of CCA Circuit Season 2 now. And this is it. We're here in grand finals. This is the last set. Well, there very well could be a bracket reset at the rate that we've been seeing things happen, but TAMU Black and Maw and Order are the 2 remaining teams. Shrimple is that, taking 3rd place overall in Division 4, which again, that's still better than their seed. They were seed 4, so they outperformed how they should have on paper. So nothing to scoff at there. They got caught in the carnage of TAMU Black and Maw and Order just absolutely stomping everybody else through and through. So there is no way to tell what's happening in this grand finals. 2 teams that haven't seemingly played against each other yet this season and are just beating everybody else fairly confidently. So this could be one-sided. This could be close. I really hope it's close, because I would love to see some like a nice like action-packed grand finals to be sure.
Definitely agree with that. I really hope it's close. And it's so interesting because you have like these 2 like unstoppable forces really just coming at each other here now. TAMU Black, I believe, has only lost 1 game this entire weekend, and it was 1 game to Shrimple as that. And now you're looking at Maw and Order, who, yes, they've lost a couple sets along the way, but there's something about this losers bracket run, especially with 2, 4, 6, 9 games straight, which is just incredible across like multiple hours here too. And like long weekend of Splatoon coming down to potentially 2 sets here. Like normally I come into this and I have an idea of like who's going to win, but now it's like I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, there's nothing... Looking at these 2 teams, looking at what's happened this weekend and today, there is no indication whatsoever of who could possibly take this. So all we can really do is just sit back and watch it. Now we have heard from production, Maw and Order are taking a minute, which is that's fair. It's been a couple hours of Splatoon for them so far, and just taking a quick second to relax, get some water, kind of get that mental reset going into grand finals, because you're going to be playing a very different team from Shrimple as that here against TAMU Black.
Yeah, TAMU Black has just been solid on like all ends. Like if you look at a team like this, you see them in Division 4, you still think it's like, okay, this is like low level, especially within Collegiate especially, but this is a team that has those moments where they look like they're reminiscent of like some of the best college programs pretty much ever here in CCA, and they go around this with such dominance sometimes that you forget like what level of Splatoon you're watching, which is just incredible to think about. Speaking of other levels, I do think we have a live looking into Division 3 as well, so another good matchup here. Splatter Screen Savers. You have UCSD Esports Navy, another historic program here. So a lot of great stuff happening. As we mentioned, multiple sets of Splatoon, multiple action just to be watching, and they're just all having just an insane set, it looks like.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is, you know, we're here in Grand Finals in Division 4, but I believe most other divisions are also either in Losers Bracket Finals or Grand Finals. So this is the point where, yeah, it's the best of the best from every division, all duking it out here at the end of the day here on Sunday. So no matter which division you look at right now, you're going to be getting some very close matches, a lot of just high-octane Splatoon, to be sure.
Definitely, yeah. And it's like one of my favorite things here too. Yeah, the absolute aura of just like a championship Sunday. Nothing else really matches it here, where you are going to be crowning multiple winners across multiple divisions here. Apparently, this is also a rematch of like a winner set as well. UCSD did beat Splatter Screen Savers in winner semis, so maybe another chance for UCSD to punch their ticket into Grands, but I don't know. After we've been seeing Maw and Order just like winning against teams that have already beaten them, I don't even know if like coming from winners is even an advantage at this point anymore.
Yeah, Maw and Order has just kind of like ruined any like anecdotes or any kind of any like history or structure we can pull from a traditional tournament format, because they have just surmounted all odds and are now in the Grand Finals for Division 4, which is my favorite type of stuff to commentate, because I like it when I just have no idea what I'm about to see, in a good way, in like the way of like I'm about to get surprised, not in the way of oh, like this is all boring, like who cares what I see. But yeah, it's like I said earlier, I don't even know what else to say about this upcoming match, because whatever I say, Maw and Order is going to prove me wrong. So
that's true. I don't even know anymore, because it's like all conventional thinking, especially when you look at like just general like what happens in a playoff bracket, just throw it out the window, because it's like a team like this, we've seen losers runs before across like the entirety of the Splatoon scene. I don't know if we really how often we see a run like this, where underdog coming up against multiple teams that probably should have won against them, multiple different situations, and they're just able to keep this run going. Like absolute insanity here. TAMU Black also, a lot of great stuff on the winner's side, has looked amazing. I don't even know. It's like two teams, only one can come out as the winner here, and it's just looking real rough to pick who's going to come out on top.
Yeah, and honestly, what I was thinking originally is, you know, Maw and Order, no matter what, they beat their seed. If they come in second place, like there's nothing to scoff at there. But I think at this point they'd be pretty disappointed if their run does end here. So really looking to get that first place, and TAMU Black, of course, as well. The number 2 seed looking to take the number 1 spot. So both of these teams, a lot to prove. Either way, both of them trying to tell the TO subtly, hey, we shouldn't be Division 4, by the way. We should probably, you know, next season, keep an eye on us. If none of them are graduating. I don't know how old a lot of the players are on either of these two teams. But yeah, either, like, both of these teams, the quality of gameplay we've seen from them, could definitely see them getting bumped up in a potential future CCA circuit. And Game 1 of our final set of the day, Grand Finals for Division 4, Splat Zone's Urchin Underpass. Surely it's somebody's favorite map.
What? I don't know who's exactly here. Maybe one of these players absolutely loves this and has been prepping for this pretty much the entire weekend. Like, once we get the Grand, Zone's Urchin Underpass, that's my home turf. I don't know if that's necessarily myself, but maybe one of these players, maybe you see a couple people swap in just for this. You never know here, and hard to tell, especially because like both these teams have been really good on Splat Zones this entire weekend, and going into this matchup, really anything could happen here as we go into Division 4 Grand Finals.
Yeah, loading in to what could be the last set, and assuming there's no bracket reset, but either way, we have TAMU Black in the orange, Ma and Order in the blue. A similar comp coming from Ma and Order, whereas TAMU Black, the two of us haven't seen yet today, a much more aggressive composition with Dr. Ness on the ink brush, Mikal on the roller. That's going to be potentially a level of aggression that Ma and Order haven't seen for quite a little bit here in the bracket.
That it's interesting because Mon Order is, as a comp, as a team, it feels like they've been pretty aggressive this entire tournament. But TAMU Black, like you'll mention it, but double melee here with the brush, with the roller, and the Dread Ring doesn't exactly have too much range here. So very in-your-face comp could have high risk, high reward. A matter of seeing what are they going to be able to do with it. And TAMU Black, they've been able to control this zone and still maintain a lot of pressure up top here. Mon Order is able to flip it, get out of their penalty as well, but with this zone, especially with Urchin Underpass being what it is, hard to tell how long each zone will be lasting in terms of control.
Yeah, both teams trying to keep control of this tiny zone. Paradrove is going to come in with a slider. We'll get 1 and 2, make that 3 down for Ma and Order. The last player, Splat Chad, and Splatchad seems to be the kind of the anchor role on the side of Ma and Order, being the longest range weapon they have, and is usually that last player alive, has to buy some space for them. But TAMU Black already counting down these points, 60 ticks remaining, and just trying to keep Ma and Order away from the different approach angles here on the sides on Urchin Underpass. The slider will go in for the zone as well as the Booyah Bomb. Will not get flipped because of the shape of the zone. Will go down. TAMU Black still in control. They're just holding on to this zone.
Yeah, and they have a reef slider of their own to put a punctuation mark on that as well. You're seeing Splatchat now just trying to establish control here. Pancake's also still up, never mind, as TAMU Black has probably watched his run, is unfazed by it here at this point. Now in the single digits left to go here, Dr. Nest is going to get a great trade, and that's going to lead to TAMU Black just getting this first game here in Grands.
And that is a vastly different story than what we've seen from the rest of the games with Ma and Order today. They only got 7 points on the board in total, with TAMU Black just taking that knockout fairly convincingly. So this will be an interesting one. Is TAMU Black just going to end this set here and now, just take the next 2 games like that, or does Ma and Order have a solution here? Was that minute they took, did they cool off the momentum a bit too much there, or have they met their match finally?
Yeah, those are really the big questions here, because TAMU Black really feels like that immovable wall at this point here for Ma and Order. And the hard thing is, especially at this point, we're in counter picks, and Ma and Order really hasn't had really any opportunities to have like any type of like counter picking strategy they've ever needed it. They've always just won their games here, so haven't had a need to do any kind of counter picking since the beginning of today. I don't even really know what their next option is going to be now that they find themselves down a game in this set.
Yeah, and so Ma and Order, though they do have a lot of options, I feel like we've seen them be comfortable everywhere. Obviously, they've won a lot of games, and I'm sure, though, they've definitely, I feel like they'd be more prepared than TAMU Black to have a counter pick here, because they would be much more familiar with losing, especially from that first set they played. Going to a game 5, they've had to play a couple counter picks, and I believe they've played more games today than TAMU Black as well. Yes. So they've had a bit more time to test the waters on how they're doing, because obviously when you play Splatoon, you know what maps are your good maps, you know how you're feeling, but consistency is the hardest thing to attain, and so on any given day you might not be feeling one of your maps, maybe you are. So hopefully they've had the chance to kind of decide, like, yeah, today is the day we play XYZ map. I was going to drop a specific map mode name, but I can't even think of one off the top of my head that they might want to be picking here. So they really could just give us anything.
They really could. Did I hear that we're getting Manta Rain going into this?
I believe we did hear that we have Manta Rain. I never know if I should spoil the map and mode before it shows up on the screen for the viewers, because some people don't like it when I do that. But yes, there we go. Thank you, production. Rainmaker, Manta Maria. I mean, I knew we could spoil it because production told us in our ears, but I guess Mon Order enjoyed that last one. You know, I did say it's not a map mode I like, but maybe they like it, and I guess they do, because they're bringing us right back here, like, I guess 2 total games later. And, I mean, it worked. We saw how dominant Mon Order were on that Manta Maria game. They did let Shrimple Azat get a lot of points, but, you know, they have a comp that can work around the Rainmaker. We saw how good Korn was at using the Rainmaker, so I think they're just going to pull back that momentum that they just had from the previous set and apply it here and see if they can take the second total game off of TAMU Black across the entire weekend.
Yeah, which is absolutely crazy to think about. TAMU Black still like 1 game drop this entire weekend. Really rough for Mon Order to see what their response is going to be, but we saw before they played really well on here. TAMU Black, couple weapon swaps here as well, so a lot of being up in your face here. Real eyes on really Dr. Ness now, swapping from the Ink Brush over to that Luna Blaster. So matter of seeing what are we going to be doing here, but it looks like regardless of what happens, there's going to be a lot of fighting.
Yeah, we just see a much more aggressive comp from TAMU Black in general, because Parajo as well is switching off the Dreadringer onto the Vanilla Slosher. And of course, Mon Order on the same comp we saw from them 2 games ago, I believe, when they were last on this map mode. Pancake will go off the side of the map, unfortunately. That is what happens when you're on dualies if you are not careful with which way you roll. That's why I don't play dualies. That is alone. And Mon Order, though, they get the wipe. They are just going for a push here. There's too much distracting me here. And maybe it's distracting TAMU Black too, because Mon Order, less than a minute, already got the first checkpoint.
Yeah, it's a lot of like, I don't know how this is working, but it is working. And it is working so well for Mon Order, who has found themselves already at the 30. We have just passed 1 minute within this game here. And Mon Order, they have no fear at all. The hammer is going to come at them, though, as Dr. Ness does find at least a few there. And now suddenly, TAMU Black has an opportunity to have the Rainmaker of their own, try and get a push of their own here. Let's see what Michael Moo is going to be able to do here as well, and see how far they're going to be able to get this Rainmaker going.
Yeah, first step though is get rid of Mon Order. I believe we see a Tetra Dually behind the Rainmaker. They have to run forward into 2 players of Mon Order. He's able to dodge around, will pick one. The missiles are going to be dropped on the Rainmaker, and they say, you know what, I don't need to deal with this today, and we'll drop off the map. Mon Order, though, in control of the Rainmaker and the map, so TAMU Black not out of the rough waters yet.
Yeah, Mon Order, once again, that's the second wipe they've had within those first 2 minutes. They're trying to find a third. They do! That is impressive as well for Mon Order to just continuously just find these advantage states. And Splatchat now on the Rainmaker is going to push it all the way to the 13. TAMU Black is 2 down as well. And with the way Mon Order has been fighting, they're trying to just keep going with this. They're already at the 5. Reef Slider coming in and pops the Rainmaker bubble, and it gets the knockout. What is happening here in Grand Finals?
So, I already told you that no matter what we think or what we say, Mon Order will reverse it. We were saying, like, oh, this might be a close set, right? And then TAMU Black take a convincing game 1. We think, oh, maybe Mon Order is just gone. And then we see a Pancake roll off the map in the beginning. We go, yeah, Mon Order are struggling here. And then they get 3 wipeouts and a KO against one of the most dominant teams in this division, just out of nowhere.
That's the best way to put it. I don't even know.
Yeah. Mon Order are the definition of a wild card. There's no predicting anymore. We can predict things about TAMU Black, and then just kind of see what Mon Order does. But yeah, they tied up the set 1-1. Again, grand final, so it's a best of 5 with a potential bracket reset if Mon Order takes this set. So, still a lot of Splatoon in front of us. I've already lost my mind a while ago. I don't even know how much there is to unpack from that match. It was so quick. Mon Order just completely flipped the script on TAMU Black there.
Yeah, the narrative is just all on its head right there, especially like after that first wipe. I was like, wow, Mon Orders, they've come to play here. They're really comfortable in Rainmaker Mansa, and like we kind of touched upon this before the game even started, but it's not exactly a common counter pick option to see that, and they picked it with such confidence. Yeah, they got a wipe, they were able to get to checkpoint really easily. Then you got the second wipe, and I'm like, whoa, they found the third, and at this point my mind was already blown. And Mon Order has been blowing my mind pretty much the entirety of this block, and I don't even know really here. TAMU Black, another rare time where they're going to be counterpicking here, and I'm so curious now, like, what exactly are these adjustments even going to be happening here? So, yeah, mind blown. We still have a lot of Splatoon probably that's still going to be happening here.
Yeah, now I am checking back. The only counter pick that TAMU Black has made the entire weekend was Tower Control Ship-Shaped Cargo Co. So that could potentially be a comfort pick. That may have just been a comp-specific thing. And no, never mind, I just looked over my other monitor. They have picked Tower Control Ship-Shaped Cargo. So that is just their counter pick. So this game will be interesting because TAMU Black, this seems to be their favorite map because it's the only thing they've ever counterpicked, presumably this entire season. So if Mon Order take this game, I don't know what irreparable damage that will do to TAMU Black's mental game. So that's what I'm looking for right here.
Yeah, and like we're getting some crazy insight as well. TAMU Black is like so dominant on tower ship shape. Like their estimated games are like less than a minute every time, which is dominant. And like this is a team that's only dropped now. After that last game, only 4 games this entire season. That's months of Splatoon. Only dropping 4 games, 2 of them being today, is absolutely crazy. Now you're going to one of your bread and butters here, probably the map mode you were most known for, and this is such a pivotal game as well. This one's going to give a set advantage to one of these teams here, and Game 3 is just always so important in a best of 5.
Yeah, loading in this game, we have the same weapons we've been seeing throughout the day. This is kind of a mixed comp for TAMU Black. Some weapons from Game 1, some weapons from Game 2. I believe actually an identical comp for Mon Order from the last game. And already both teams kind of just duking it out in the middle of the map, just looking for that first opening push. Mon Order, whether they're aware of it or not, need to get a strong footing here because this is TAMU Black's best map mode combination from the looks of it. Whereas TAMU Black, they're looking to keep this game as quick and clean as they always have on Tower Control Ship Shape. So right now, both teams still just looking for any foothold.
Yeah, looking for any foothold is really insane here. You would argue the advantage is towards Mon Order here. They are able to be the first team to get towards the checkpoint here, and TAMU Black is still so strong at this map mode combination, so I can't exactly count them out yet here, despite all of the advantage now really being in favor of Mon Order. Found themselves past the 50 here on a very snowball heavy map and stuck at the 45, but they do have like a multiple down on the TAMU Black. Make that 3 down, and as we think that there's a narrative in play, Mon Order just throws away the script.
Yeah, Mon Order, again, are the team that are just completely... I don't even know what to say at this point. They're about to KO this game. There's the KO. Mon Order, they have completely disregarded everything that has been said by anyone ever. We were just told by production that TAMU Black has won 4 times on this map this season. They've played it 4 times, they've won 4 times, and they've been less than a minute KOs. And they just got KO'd in just over a minute by Mon Order. Why? Because we were told it happens, and so the opposite happened. So I think the only way for Mon Order to lose is to say they're gonna win. And
I guess so.
They just defy logic. Like they're doing the opposite of what we say. So that is like TAMU Black and Mon Order are the 2 guards of Division 4. One only tells the truth, one only tells a lie.
Yeah, I can't say even better myself here. Like, I'm so dumbfounded by watching this because this is such a hype set. But I'm just so confused because, like, as you mentioned, all logic is thrown out the window here, and it's like, this is awesome. But I'm like here trying to like give like analysis, trying to give insight. We're trying to call back on history and statistics, and it doesn't matter. I have a notebook here that I was keeping track of for all of this, and like it doesn't even matter anymore. Like, what is happening? I'm so confused.
I'm like, both of us are left speechless, not because of like the crazy, insane, like what's happening plays. It's the how do we explain this? Our job is so difficult right now because we're supposed to talk about what we're seeing, and we can't even quite like put our finger on what's happening because any expectations are thrown out the window. Ma and Order are so immensely dominant, but then also have the ability to just lose the game if TAMU Black decides to, or maybe Ma and Order decided to lose. I don't really know at this point anymore. I'm not fully convinced that Ma and Order are people. They are just entities that, like, they're bots. They're here in the game, and they're pre-programmed to do something. I should not be saying all these things about Ma and Order. I'm sure they're lovely people, but in my head, this is what's happening right now.
No, that's exactly how it feels. Like, I came into this set, like, yeah, TAMU Black is the final boss of Division 4. Ma and Order, I guess, is now the final boss. This is the one that you go after you beat the game, and it's like, what is even happening? Like, all explanation is just out the window here, and we're only going into Game 4. This set still has the potential to go to Game 5. We still have a potential for a second set. I'm already confused. I'm already at a loss for words here. We're not even done with set 1. If this goes to a set 2, I don't know where I'm going to be pulling any explanation from.
Yeah. Hey, as you said, TAMU Black, they are the big final boss at the end of the game. Ma and Order is when you put 500 mods into the game at once and just load it and see what happens. That is the situation we're in here. And we're loading into another game. So again, TAMU Black are making the counter pick. They can't go back to tower ship shape because they've already picked it and they lost on it. And now I believe they're going to do Clan Blitz Scorch Gorge, which I don't think we've seen Ma and Order on this map mode yet, on stream at least. They may have played it already today. So this one could be fresh and interesting because we don't know what's going to happen with Ma and Order anymore. So speculation's out the window. We're loading in the game, Spicy.
Yeah, Ma and Order, they played Clan Blitz twice in the set that they lost earlier. They split that 1-1. They won it in Game 4 and then lost Game 5 against Shrimple as that on Clan Blitz, I believe. So I don't know if they played it since then, and TAMU Black, a team with a lot of cohesion, you would think that they were like one of the favorites here, but as we keep saying, thinking is out the window right now. So let's see what happens here. Gotta be really focusing on the early clan economies, seeing who's gonna be able to really fight for position, really establish an advantage, and end up getting the first scoring.
Yeah, now, interestingly enough, we're seeing a couple of switches. Actually, Michael is no longer playing on TAMU Black. Now it is Sophie switching on to the Julie Squelchers instead of having Michael on the roller, and Korn on the side of Ma and Order on the Ink Brush rather than the Tri-Slosher and I believe Aerospray they've been on so far the rest of the day. So interesting weapon switch-ups for this map mode specifically, as Ma and Order are just being as annoying as possible, trying to push up and just cause distraction and confusion until they're able to take some space of their own. They do have a bit of control mid, have some specials coming out, but neither team really in striking distance just yet.
Yeah, and it's so interesting because we talk about how aggressive these two teams have been before and how much speed and how much scoring has really been happening. Through the first minute, we haven't seen any of that just yet. Dr. Ness is trying to find a third now, and you see one of their teammates is able to pick that up instead. You have the Charger as well, who's coming in. They are able to get the opening basket here as well. They're funneling in these clams. This is what TAMU Black has been hoping to see. They go 2 down in the process, but Polarity now has that cooler here. Is able to provide some jumps as well if need be. So great opening start here, able to finally get some scoring in. Now let's see what Ma and Order is going to be able to do as a response.
Yeah, great opening push, you say, from TAMU Black. It's just going to give them a lot of wiggle room. You know, Clan Blitz is such a volatile mode, and speaking of things that are volatile, actually, the Bob going to get 2 damage counts in this game are such volatile things, and now the Slider coming in and getting 1. A lot of big explosions happening. We'll try to explain other things, but it doesn't even matter at this point. TAMU Black have the basket open, but 3 players down. Another ball will go in, and right now it's just Dr. Ness running around trying to survive on that Ink Brush, and this is kind of what we expected to see from TAMU Black, I think. Just the much more raw aggression in your face, able just to get picks, get baskets open, and get those points. Now, Mon Order, though, back in control, back in the middle.
Yeah, a lot of credit here to like Dr. Ness, especially here on that brush. Really able to help facilitate all these big openings here for TAMU Black. They've already opened the basket twice now. Mon Order, with those missiles from Splatchat, might be finding a way in towards the basket of their own here and seeing what they able to do. They are able to get a long-range pick here. Core now also on the brush, so a lot of speed here, a lot of brushes, just seeing that, and Claimwoods makes a lot of sense here. Pancake trying to find the kill onto Dr. Ness, has the Reslider, is able to find one as Mon Order also finds the basket. See how far they're going to be able to get up here.
They will get a couple claims in, but 3 players down. It's just Flower Boy not able to get any value out of it. Pancake jumped in, but did actually get the pick onto Dr. Ness, so will live there, unless they decide to just go in. That's also an option. TAMU Black managed to keep the lead. They get back map control. Soda's going out just as a little celebratory drink after a successful defense. And now we have 1 minute and 38 seconds left. TAMU Black are looking fairly confident, fairly in control, but Mon Order, they've shown that they can get us a push, and if they get another one, that could be Elite Swap.
Yeah, and like, it's so scary to see this, because Mon Order has been a team where you can't exactly count them out ever here. TAMU Black knows that their best way to win this game is just to keep scoring and just defend like their life depends on it here. They don't want to have to go to a bracket reset. They want to be able to win this grand finals here in set 1 from winners. And the long range pick from that spot bomb was able to be done there from Sophie. Just a great way of being able to get that extra pressure here. Last minute to go here. We've had a little bit of a scoring drought, but not a lot of other things here. As you see, Dr. Ness able to find 2 and putting the pressure on Mon Order.
And this is the point of the game where you need to not lose members, but Dr. Ness is instead able to get 2 picks on a Mon Order, and a Slider will take out another player as well. Mon Order just are losing players, but they don't have a lot of time left. There's 30 seconds left. 2 power clams is still not even enough for a lead, so they really need to get some economy. They need to get some space, but TAMU Black, they have the pedal to the metal here. They're just not letting up. They're preventing Mon Order from having any time, but 15 seconds left. They managed to get a couple picks. Splatchat's walking in. Spicy, they might have a chance here for a counter push.
Yeah, you know that they do have that power clam available as well. Corey is now trying to make a run for it here, trying to put up some extra pressure. A special online. It's the Reslider, but Pancake is going to be going down here. We are going to be triggering overtime. 2 players still up here from Mon Order. It's a matter of seeing, are they going to be able to win this game here in overtime? They have to find their way towards the basket, but a lot of great stuff here from TAMU Black. The immovable wall, once again, just putting on so much pressure. There is nowhere to go here for Mon Order, trying to see if they have any last gasps in them, but it's probably not going to have enough time, as TAMU Black is going to take us to Game 5.
Yeah, and that scenario there is so favorable for TAMU Black, because you just have to defend. The number 1 priority is just don't die. As long as all 4 of us are alive, we will have the paint, we'll have the pressure, we'll have the specials, we'll have everything we need to just keep Mon Order away. And we saw it. They had, mathematically, Mon Order had the exact number of clams they needed to take a lead. They had 2 power clams and 2 normal clams, which would have given them, it would have, 2 power clams and 1 clam would have been a tie, so the second clam would have given them the exact lead. So they were set. They just needed to get in, and they couldn't. There was too many bombs, too many specials, and there's not much they can really do there. There's just no time to wait out for TAMU Black to make a mistake, and ultimately that got them the win. And now here we are, Game 5, Grand Finals. Either TAMU Black takes it here and now and they are your Division 4 champions, or we go to the bracket reset and Mon Order try to do the unthinkable.
Yeah, and we've said this before, but it's like TAMU Black, when they're on top of things, they look unstoppable. That was one of those moments, especially that overtime. It was just so impeccably played. Nowhere to go here for Mon Order, but every time we think this could be the run ender for Mon Order, it doesn't happen. They find a way to make it work, and they are able to just stay alive here. options are starting to get limited now in this game 5 in terms of counter picks. So you kind of have to dig a little deep now, at least in the map mode selection. So I'm really curious. Season on the line, what is really going to be coming out here? TAMU Black, an opportunity to win it all. Mon Order, a chance to just send us to a second set. I'm so interested, so excited to see what we end up going into.
Yeah, and now the one thing here to point out is that it is game 5, so it could go either way, but it is Ma and Order's counter pick. So they do have a slight advantage here in this scenario, because assuming that everything goes to expectation, which it doesn't with Ma and Order, they have the advantage because they're picking the map and mode. So maybe that'll be enough, because it did work the first time. They brought us to Rainmaker, Manta Maria, and we saw how dominant that was. And speaking of, we do have the map and mode. I'm going to spoil it here. Clam, Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime is what they're picking. Not what I was expecting, but also Mon Order has never done anything I've expected anyway. So what am I to say?
Yeah, I am really interested to see how this goes, especially. Clan Blitz, you saw that there was potential here from Mon Order, but TAMU Black just played really strong there. I'm wondering, like, we could have gone to Splat Zones as well. We haven't seen that since game 1, but TAMU Black also looked really solid there. So, Mon Order, they've won before on Barnacle and Dime, so at least in zone. So they're definitely familiar with the map overall. And I'm trying to think. And I think their comp does work here as well, especially for Clan with a lot of different openings being able to be made here. So I think it does work in their favor here. The counter pick makes a lot of sense. It's just a matter of, can you get through this TAMU Black defense? Because if TAMU Black gets a lead, especially late into the game, it's going to be really difficult for Mon Order to make anything happen. But that also just assumes logic is still in play, and that has not been the case here with this team.
Yeah, and one thing I forgot to consider, and I kind of realized just now for counterpicking in a game 5, is you can only counterpick to a mode that you haven't won. Which means that you have to counterpick to a mode the other team has won. Because both teams have won 2 because in this scenario, all 4 modes have been played. So they can't counterpick Rainmaker or Towers, they have to counterpick to Zones or Clan Blitz. So it does put Mon Order in a tricky situation, because they have to kind of just pick clams, even though they just lost on it. So the mental game here is going to be interesting to see from Mon Order. If they can shake off that last game and say, you know what, no, we almost won. Our overtime push, we had enough clams, we had the numbers, we just didn't have the time to get it in. So, you know, maybe they can overcome that hurdle and with a fresh new 5-minute long game on a map that they decided to go to, they can potentially bring this back, as you said.
Yeah, it's a lot of different things, a lot of different factors really at play here, knowing that for one team, once again, your season is now on the line here. It does come down to this last game. Mon Order has yet to be on elimination point. So, TAMU Black has a little bit more leeway as well. So here we are, going into the last game of the first set of Grand Finals. Will this be the only set? Will we get a reset? Time will tell here. Clan Blitz, Barnacle, and Dime. Now a matter of seeing if there's any big comp changes.
Yeah, we'll look at our comps here. Once again, TAMU Black in the orange dress, the same weapons we've been seeing throughout the day. Same with Mon Order, though, bringing in the Claws 96 Gal as their soda option instead of missiles from Splat Chad this game.
Yeah, interesting stuff, because you look across and there's a lot of very similar stuff here. You are seeing a Doy, you're seeing a Brush, you're seeing a Dread Ringer here, and the anchors are a bit different, but now it's a matter of seeing what ends up being the big factor here in terms of execution. So we didn't see a lot of scoring in the beginning of game 4 on Clan Blitz. Now let's see what happens here on game 5. Immediately just seeing an even clan economy as well. Definitely a lot of fighting here in this neutral state, and knowing that one big mistake or one mistake at all could mean the entire game being decided soon. Yeah,
right now, I think that's the only thing we can count on, is that when you make a mistake, it will get capitalized on. So TAMU Black, you know, they've been a relatively consistent team, and realistically, if they can shut out any mistakes, any holes in their comp, it'll minimize the chances of Mon Order making something happen. But, you know, with Mod Order is a team that they haven't run Soda every game, and this is one of the games they do have Soda, so they will have the ability to get back quick. They'll be able to make some more interesting plays in just traditional fighting with their weapons. So it might be the ticket they kind of need. They do have one player going in by themselves, and they will get picked down. Mod Order still in control of the mid, but TAMU Black, they're trying to push for a little bit of an opening here.
They are, yeah, and it's been a bit of a stalemate, but TAMU Black seems to have maybe found an opening. Keyword on maybe. See the autobomb there. You've seen quite a few different potential ways for TAMU Black to maybe fight their way in, but Mon Order's defense has been really solid so far here, despite no scoring being done so far in the first 100 seconds or so. Approaching 2 minutes into this game as well, and no scoring once again, still on the board. And you see Mon Order has a couple specials in. That's a big reef slider opportunity, and they are able to get TAMU Black in as well, able to get something, or can they get this other power clam in? It's so close, and they are going to get shut down, so it's still a manageable lead here for Mon Order.
That was a huge slider from Flower Boy, because it didn't get the pick on a Parajove, but they thought they were going to die, so they just threw the power clam as a Hail Mary, and would then realize they had the chance to get it in, they just didn't. So it kind of helped save them from, you know, losing more points than they could have there. So Mon Order, you know, they have a little bit of a bit more breathing room here, but less than half the game left, sorry, and 68 points scored. So 2 power clams could be the push they're looking for to get a lead here.
Definitely, yeah. Mon Order has an opportunity to maybe make something happen here as well. 2 goes down here from the side of TAMU Black. Potential opening coming in. Whale being thrown out here. Corn with that rush. Has an opportunity. Goes, but gets shut down there by that splat bomb as well. I think that was from Dr. Ness. Flower Boy now trying to find a way to get towards that power climb. See if there's anything else they're going to be able to do. Reef Slider also getting shut down, and it's a 3 down here from Mon Order.
And this is what I was talking about earlier. TAMU Black, if they can keep consistent, they don't give any holes, any breaks, or any mistakes in their comp, it won't let Mon Order in. They tried to force the issue, but TAMU Black was on top of their game and just said no and took down 3 players. So TAMU Black now in control of mid, a minute and a half left. They're picking up some power clams. They have a decent control of the economy, and Mon Order have 2 power clams, if nothing else, to their names. And right now, TAMU Black's making the first push. They're going to be pushing in with a slider. Will get 1. Dr. Ness walking through. Will try to pick off 1, but Flower Boy will use the slider to not get picked off. But Pancake in the back does pick off 2 players. Right now, both teams have just decided it's go time with a minute left, Spicy. They're looking to see who will come out on top.
And it's so scary because Mon Order has so many clams available on their side and watching for a special to maybe be the opening. They have the Tacticore here online as in play as well. Less than a minute to go. They have the Reef Slider here from Pancake. They're bunched up together, but did they find the opening? It might be enough. The Whale is going to be in play here, and it's so close. There's a Reef Slider coming in, though. Doesn't find its mark, and you are going to see a few more specials coming in through. It's so close in these last 30 seconds.
There's so many. There's only that's 7 players down. The only player left alive is Polarity on the pencil and TAMU Black, but Splatched will get back in and save at least one of those power clams. 20 seconds remaining. The skirmish from all sides is terrifying for TAMU Black because of how many clams that Mon Order have, but now they managed to get rid of most of those. But Mon Order, they have enough clams in their possession to take a lead, but they need to get this overtime push going. 2 players down at TAMU Black. Mon Order walking forward. It will be Pancake going under the basket, trying to get the rest of the team in, but they can't do it. 3 players down. It's just Flower Boy left. They need to get this clam. They don't. That's a wipeout. Spicy, I think that's it. I think TAMU Black just won this entire Division 4 finals.
Yeah, the brick wall from TAMU Black holding on one more time, and despite having their back against the wall for the very first time this entire season, TAMU Black clutches up in Game 5 and leaves as the CCA Division 4 champion here in the second circuit.
As much as I wanted to see the bracket reset, I'm glad it's ending here because I don't think my heart can take another set between these 2 teams. That last 2 minutes was so stressful. The number of clams in the pockets of Mon Order, when you're talking, they got to 29 clams on the board. And even after losing all those clams, they got them back. They made another attempt right before overtime. It just... so stressful of a situation for TAMU Black. Stressful enough that Spicy just disappeared entirely off of the broadcast,
Yeah.
it seems. I'm just kind of here by myself. I believe you're... Okay, there's still a Spicy in the room with us. Good. But, like, there's too much to unpack from what we've just seen here.
Yeah, so much to unpack. I had to leave for a bit because my heart couldn't take it anymore either. If we went to a second set, I don't think I'd be here at all. But, like, wow. It was those last 2 minutes especially, like, you touched on it, but so many clams were in play. And the amount of fighting that was going to happen, it was so clear. Like, you knew what Mon Order wanted to do. They were like, okay, it's either going to be the brush is going to make our opening, or it's going to be one of our reef sliders that goes towards that basket. And TAMU Black also knowing, I think a large part of it is because they had like very similar comps going into this game 5. Like, you really knew what each other's game plan was going to be. Just came down to the one team that could score, and TAMU Black, time and time again, and still proving why they've been so good throughout the season. It gets that one score, and their defense was just so on top of it. Even this insane force that was Mon Order just wasn't able to end it there. And the Cinderella run comes a bit short, but to come up against TAMU Black, who really has appeared like this final boss, it's nothing to really hang your head over.
Yeah, that's the thing where Mon Order, they would have loved to take this bracket and to win, because that's, you know, it's a competitive game. You want to win, but as you said, second place in the division, when you were a dark horse who competed in only a few qualifiers and like basically barely made your way into the finals, and you come here in second place, you bring like the strongest and most confident team to a game 5 in grand finals, a team that's lost like one game the entire weekend. Like, Mon Order accomplished so much here this weekend in such a short amount of time that there's nothing to hang their heads over. You know, they're definitely... There's no way they don't keep playing together, and there's no way they don't probably make Div 3 at least next season. I don't know. I'm not involved with the CCA. I don't do seeding. I don't work here, but such a strong team. Excited to see more of them in the future. Like, their names are like burned in my brain now because of the confusion. So like, I'm definitely gonna recognize when I see them in the future for sure.
Oh, of course, yeah. Like, there were so many times where this run should have ended, and it just didn't. And it's just absolutely insane. Like, to go through an insane losers run like that, be like the dark horse really here throughout this entire thing. I thought I was coping when I looked at the bracket today, and it's like, you know what, Mon Order, that's a local team. They're gonna go all the way, and they almost did. I'm pleasantly surprised by that. I'm happy, at least as a local, but hey, still, TAMU Black, like, I don't think we were confused a lot by here with Mon Order. TAMU Black does bring a lot of like what makes sense. They brought the logic back into it. Like, the team that has been so good this entire season ends up on top, and that all makes sense there. So hey, still great stuff. Like, I can't believe this was like a Division 4 finals of all things too. Like, I know we still have a few other finals going on, but dang, what a set, what a block of Splatoon we have just seen.
Yeah, that's the thing you bring up too. This is Division 4. This is like Division 4 and a 5. Imagine what's happening in the other divisions. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, Mon Order were kind of a dark horse. You know, we have production in the back telling us that they only played in, 2 qualifiers the entire circuit, so there was a very little information on them coming into it, and it seems like everything they do is just to be mysterious, to be like this piece of data that's going to throw off all of your numbers. But regardless, yeah, for, you know, that much action, that much curiosity, and all this stuff happening in what's Division 4. That's why Splatoon's great. There's never a dull moment, no matter what level you were looking at. But I'm exhausted.
Me too. No, that's the best way to put it. Like, I don't even know how these players feel. They've been playing pretty much all day today. They played all day yesterday, and it's like, you have all of this happening here. It's just absolute insanity as well. But big shout out as well to the production making all of this happen. So big shout out to DRF, apparently known as now Drift, Dr. If, however you want to say it here. But hey, big shout out to everyone here at CCA helping to make this happen, because, like, geez, what a block we have just seen.
Yeah, for sure. So That's all from us. Again, congratulations, TAMU Black taking Division 4 Mon Order, a very close second place, and to all the other teams who played and competed. You know, it's great to be a part of the CCA and like just have it exist. It's such a wonderful resource for the scene. So before we go for the night, let's talk about ourselves for a little bit. Spicy, feel free to plug yourself, let people know where they can find more of you.
Yep, you can find me pretty much anywhere with Nintendo esports now at this point as well, at 2SpicyBM on Blue Sky, on Twitter, pretty much anywhere here, whether it's Splatoon, whether it's Mario Kart, whether it's Smash, trying to get my name out there, just trying to hang out, because all the Nintendo scenes have been absolutely great. Hammy, great pleasure commentating with you today. Where can the great people of this scene find you?
You can find me basically everywhere on the internet at Hammy in the Wall. Most actively, you'll find me here. hitw.inc is my Blue Sky handle. You can also just go to that URL and it'll bring you right there. I do all kinds of stuff involving Splatoon and just other shenanigans in general. I just like yapping for the most part. I like talking to a microphone. That's all I really ever do. It's all I'm good at. So that being said, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you, Spicy, commentating with me. Thank you to production and all the CCA staff for just putting on these events. It's wonderful. I do believe we're gonna kick you all off to the Division 2 finals that are still going on, so stick around for that for the raid, and we will catch you all later for, I guess, CCA Circuit Season 3. Catch you all later.